necessarily rearing back and chucking it down the field to Christian Watson. I think that Bo Melton was the first one who had a 100-yard game last year for the Packers. So I think there is some talent there. Malik Heath was the only one who had a touchdown catch last week. Well, I don't think those guys have necessarily earned a ton of reps this year. Because of what we've seen they're able to do in the past, I don't feel like the drop-off is so vast, right? There's a drop-off there, certainly, but I don't think it's like, oh, man, I don't know what they're going to do with these two guys. They have shown that they're more than capable of contributing in an NFL game.
Steve Scafidi, Gabe Knights, and Alex Strofe hanging out with you. It is Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. We're live at the Tundra Trio just outside the south end zone of Lambeau Field. A beautiful 9 degrees this morning here in Green Bay. Oh, it's
already 9? Do you think your laptop, so Strofe's got his laptop up right now because he's got to have, be able to organize the show, Packers injury report in front of him. Do you think that is getting charged fast enough? Or is the cold just draining the battery that it's just going to kind of hold at what it is right now?
We're going to find out. We're with you till noon. I mean, something bad might happen. I was thinking about that on the drive up. I was like, do I even bring my laptop? I kind of need it.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna
let the record show no gloves or hat for this guy.
Again, I talked about how I used to be tougher. No, Steve is the embodiment.
I
he still is
hunt.
tough.
I go out in the woods and hunt.
Yeah,
so I know what that feels like.
This guy's still the tough.
Steve, if there was
if
there's a badass on the panel, it's not me and Gabe. I'll give you that much. It's not very tough competition by any means. So don't feel too good about that. But
you're half my age, so I'm sure you can still take me.
I don't know about that. We're soft over here, Steve.
How do you want to see this game get managed and the playoff implications? Not much of them, but there are playoff implications on the line today for Green Bay. We dive into both of those. Coming up next on Green Bay Game Day.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Green and gold fans, it's game day. And you know what that means. Tailgating with friends and raising a glass to our favorite team. This season, make Bacardi the star of your pregame party. Whether you're mixing up a classic Bacardi and cola, refreshing Bacardi lime and soda, or a smooth spiced and cola, Bacardi is the perfect pick for game day fun. Grab a bottle and get ready to cheer on Green Bay with the best in hand. Available now at your local retailer. Live passionately, drink responsibly. Bacardi USA, Miami, Florida. Rum 40% alcohol by volume.
Football fans, get ready to elevate your game day experience. Milwaukee Broadhouse downtown has the ultimate package for stress-free fun this football season. With rides starting at $85 per person, hop on their round-trip buses from Milwaukee Broadhouse downtown for every green and gold home game. Enjoy all you can drink on the ride and a private restroom. Want even more? Upgrade your ticket and add on an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate package for an additional $30. Spots are filling up fast. Book today at MilwaukeeBroadhouse.com. Milwaukee Broadhouse, located on MLK Drive downtown.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you could win over $2,000 in free play every month, all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
I haven't had anything to eat for days, and being hungry hurts.
Going without oil changes can destroy your engine, but it doesn't compare to the effect of going without food. That's why the Automobile Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee is determined to make sure no one goes to bed hungry. Through March 1st, they'll donate $1 from every oil change to Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has donated over $890,000, providing more than 2.6 million meals to people across southeast Wisconsin, the majority being children and seniors. And with today's ongoing challenges, the need is greater than ever. So help the hungry while helping your vehicle. Get your oil changed by Adam Dealer Factory Train Techs at a price as low or lower than independent shops. Visit an Adam member dealer near you.
For a list of participating dealers, visit adamm.com.
We get it. You're on the go, and life gets in the way. Stay up to date on all things WTMJ with podcasts of every show. Available on WTMJ.com. And don't forget you can stream WTMJ online and watch your favorite WTMJ shows on YouTube. Every show, when you want it, no matter where you are. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ. While you rest on the weekends, we work for you. Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. The latest in news.
The amount of energy people are using is going up. Power companies are changing where that power comes from.
Entertainment.
This is the culmination of these tour journals of all the weirdest shows I played.
And more.
Anybody who looks at this institutionally would never allow recess appointments to happen when a Republican president gets elected because they'll know what will happen if a Democrat gets elected.
Every Sunday morning starting at 8 on WTMJ. The Political Power Hour with Steve Scafidi.
Will it be too disruptive to come in fast and furious day one or week one of the second Trump administration and totally blow up significant pieces of the Wisconsin economy? That's the tough part.
Hearing from political experts from across Wisconsin and beyond.
And the impact to that won't be seen until afterwards, depending on how far the Trump administration goes on this.
Weekdays from 9 to 10 on WTMJ.
Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
The Bears still suck.
We could just play this song all day long.
On repeat.
As far as I'm aware. It's Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, live from the Tundra Trio, just outside the south end zone of Lambeau Field. Alex Strofe, Gabe Neitzel, Steve Scafidi, the mayor, hanging out with you on this beautiful 9-degree morning here in Green Bay.
I see some Bears fans trickling in.
Yeah,
I do as well. Yeah. I don't know who's running the door today. Security!
Quietly.
I know this is my first year doing Green Bay Game Day up here. Apparently, we're just letting anybody in.
Oh, boy.
Like I figured security would be tighter.
Yep.
That if you're wearing any sort of bear, like at least have a little bit of shame and try to sneak in the Bears paraphernalia. No, everybody's just wearing it proudly.
No, we've got scarves, we've got jackets, we've got hats. This is a disaster. I don't know who's running this place, but we got to work on that security. Nonetheless, it's Packers Bears noon kickoff today. The Packers are 10-point favorites with a win and a
child with a Bears hat. Do I need to call Child Protective Services?
The answer is yes. With a Packers win today and a Commanders loss, the Packers would clinch the 6th seed in the NFC. Any other results? Bears win, Commanders win, Packers lose, Commanders tie, and a Packers win. I think the Packers would get the 6th seed. Regardless.
Does that mean LaFleur wants to win this game, has to win this game?
Yeah, but I think he does understand that.
Oh, I know he understands.
He doesn't need his top dogs to win this one against the Chicago Bears. But yes,
he wants this win.
Definitely.
He does.
Amongst other reasons, right?
And I think he talked about it throughout the course of the week. You know, when we talk with Rob or talk with Jason on our shows on ESPN Milwaukee, and it's a different situation, obviously, but when they had the number 1 seed back in 2021, LaFleur told the starters, hey, you're playing the first half. Now, they came out flat, didn't play well, and ultimately LaFleur did admit he doesn't think that's the reason they lost to San Francisco 2 weeks later that ended that season. But you just do want that focus, and I think he thought that was a mistake, and especially with a younger team, he didn't make that mistake this week. He didn't say, hey, you guys play in the first half and that's it. Maybe he went up to him and said, hey, if we're up 21-3 at the end of the first half, then maybe you get to sit. But I don't think he said, yep, you guys are playing the first half and that's it, because he wants this team locked in and focused.
So if it's the other scenario where they're not up big at half, those starters play in the third quarter, you think?
I think so.
I think so too.
All right.
I think so too. Josh Jacobs, meeting with the media earlier this week, asked, hey, what do you expect this week in terms of carries, your workload? Here's what the running back said to media earlier in the week.
Just being honest, being realistic, I don't see me taking that many carries in this game. Obviously, I want to play. I'm going to push the play, and I'm playing, but I don't see myself taking 30 carries. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean,
well, 30 is a pretty big number, Josh.
Yeah, how many times did you have 30?
Thanks for the insight. 0, I believe, would be the answer. Maybe once.
See, and that's why it's so important to listen to the entire thing, because if you just see what some of those, I'm not expecting that many carries. Well, yeah, he's, in his mind, not that many carries is still like 20, right? Like
that's a normal day in the office
which is
for
a
him,
normal. normal workload. Do I expect him to get to 20? Maybe. But, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he had 15, especially in the first half. And then they pull him out much like they did against New Orleans. I mean, he was the first one they pulled out against the Saints.
Right.
And he still had a pretty big workload in that first half.
You didn't ask me, but if I was going to guess how they're going to play this game, the Packers, they want to run the ball at them.
Yep.
Right at them as much as they can and do it successfully. That's what LaFleur wants to do. Whether he can do it or not is a big question.
So I think my favorite part about the way they've run the football this year, Steve, is it's a little bit of old school with the new school philosophy of how football is played in the NFL, because Chris Brooks has basically become a fullback.
Right.
And the way they've motioned Josh Jacobs, they have, I think they call it the pony package, where they've got the two running backs right next to Jordan Love in the shotgun, and they'll just do a short little motion of Josh Jacobs to get him behind Jordan. And then he's like running right behind Chris Brooks, right? It's like Edgar Bennett or Dorsey Levens running behind William Henderson. Chris Brooks has become that fullback and has been such a big part and a big reason why they have had success running the football. I think they do a lot of that today. Throw Chris Brooks at you and try to grind you down, because a team like the Bears that has nothing to play for, is already talking about vacation. The way you get them to give up quickly is by running the ball at them and just grinding and wearing them down.
I'm intrigued to see the workload for all of those guys, right? Because to your point, Chris Brooks has, and by the way, I have such a man crush on Chris Brooks.
Yeah.
He has been so good this year.
He has been.
And you know my back and forth with Emmanuel Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
He's taken Emmanuel Wilson snaps.
I'll tell you, he has, because he's been that fullback.
Right. He's been so good.
I just feel like we have a love affair of fullbacks in the state. Like, growing up in the 90s, I mean, everybody loved William Henderson.
Yep.
Everybody loved William Henderson. He was the best of the bunch because he could also catch the ball really well out of the backfield. Obviously, John Kuhn is a folk hero in this state. And if Chris Brooks continues this up, man, I think people are going to love him as well.
I think you're totally right. Although he's technically still listed as a halfback, but
sure,
he has been playing that full. And we don't get into the weeds a whole lot in this program, but the way he is acting as like a sixth offensive lineman in pass protection has been so impressive to me throughout this season for a guy many Packers fans didn't even know existed prior to this season.
And a big reason why Jordan Love's been successful against the blitz this season, because they have good running backs that can help pick up the blitz coverage and give Jordan a little bit extra.
The guy doesn't get sacked. Jordan Love doesn't get sacked.
Which is kind of amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a team that we were a little bit worried about the offensive line at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I'm not anymore, because they showed the ability to run the ball and pass protect. I was not expecting that.
The nice part of that.
Is that the best position group they have offensively, the offensive line?
It might be.
Running backs?
I think it's better because when you factor in the holes they've opened up for Josh Jacobs, and Josh has been fantastic. I don't want to take anything away from him. But when you couple that with the fact that Jordan Love has been sacked as little as he has, I think the offensive line as a position group is the best thing the Packers have going offensively, which for a team that didn't have a Pro Bowler, and I think that's what Elton Jenkins was tweeting about earlier this week when he said bleep was getting weird.
Poop emoji, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think he swore.
He did not. I did. But that as a collective, they've been relatively healthy this year outside of Jordan Morgan, who was rotating. But even after he went down, that became a pretty cohesive five-man unit. And it is, if they are going to do and make any sort of run in the postseason, I think it starts with those five guys.
This will be the 16th game of a 17-game season that they have the same five starters on the offensive line.
And
Josh Myers missed one game earlier in the season. Otherwise, these five starters have been the starters all year long. So that continuity you're talking about, Gabe, I think it's what has led to so much success for this offensive line.
Yeah, I think that's something I want to talk with Jason about in hour two when he joins us, because there have been very few Packers teams that have been this healthy on the offensive line, and the ones that have had a ton of success. So hopefully that can continue for them into the postseason.
That's another big question as well, staying healthy today to get to the postseason and not have any additional injuries past the ones you talked about earlier.
So it's 2025, which means information is readily available. The Commanders and the Cowboys play at noon as well. It's the same time as Packers-Bears. As I mentioned earlier, if the Packers win today and the Commanders lose to old friend Mike McCarthy and the Dallas Cowboys, the Packers would clinch the 6th seed. How is Matt LaFleur keeping an eye on that score? Because in some capacity, either he is or somebody in his ear is keeping a very tight eye on the score of that game.
Yeah, and maybe they adjust with what they want to do at halftime, depending upon the score of that game, if it happens to be out of hand. I don't know if it will be or not. I know the Commanders have played pretty well the last 2 weeks, but a couple weeks before that, they're a young team as well. They've had their inconsistencies. They lost to Dallas a handful of weeks ago. Now, the Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb's down. Like, a lot of their big-time players are down, where they've got nothing to play for. But they've been playing hard for Mike McCarthy, and I expect the Cowboys to come out and play hard in that game and give the Commanders a run.
Mike McCarthy, next Bears coach? Question mark?
I think he's the next Cowboys coach, Steve. Are
you going to hang on?
I think he might have saved his job already, but we'll see.
Well, he might want out.
Yeah, that's true.
He hired a new agent. And
I missed that.
Oh, yeah, he hired Don Yee.
Oh.
Tom Brady's old agent.
Yeah, the big agent.
Yeah, so anytime you do that, like if this is Major League Baseball and you hear somebody hired Scott Boras, okay, that guy's going to free agency. At the very least, he's getting top dollar.
Yeah.
By changing agents this late in the game, I don't know. Again, it very well could be Mike's just going to do whatever he can to get top dollar out of Jerry. But
whether it's Chicago or somewhere else, there are jobs available for a guy like Mike McCarthy.
Oh, 100%.
Tomorrow's going to bring a lot of interesting options, right? Chicago and the New York Jets are already an option. Sounds like Vegas will be an option. New Orleans is already an option. Dallas and Chicago could be, or Chicago is an option. Dallas could be an option. There's going to be a lot of job openings in about 24 hours. So we will keep an eye on that. If you've got thoughts, if you've got questions, if you've got comments, you can hit us on the Carbless Talking text line, 800-990-3776. List is more on the Carbless Talking text line. And coming up next on the Carbless Talking text line, ESPN NFL Nation reporter Rob Demovsky joins us from inside Lambeau Field to give us all the latest on all things green and gold ahead of Packers-Bears, a noon kickoff today here at Lambeau Field. Alex Stroh, Steve Scafidi, Gabe Neitzel with you.
Your battery on your laptop has not gone up or down. It is held steady at 52% a half hour into the show.
Shout out to Rashawn Gary. Rob Demovsky joins us coming up next right here on Green Bay Game Day.
We're back with Green Bay Game Day after this on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
If you want to win at tailgating, you need to Boatify your beverage choice. Boaty wine is the ultimate addition to your tailgate party. This premium wine comes in an eco-friendly box, fitting perfectly in your cooler or trunk. And there's no heavy glass or corkscrew to deal with. One 3-liter Boaty is the equivalent of 4 bottles of wine, so it's great for sharing. Bring the wine that wins with wine critics, where there's quality in every sip. Boaty, be open to anything. Please drink responsibly. Must be 21 or older. Boaty Vineyards, Manteca, California.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
Hi, folks. This is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. Now that we're into the holiday season, it's time to celebrate with new lights and ceiling fans. And our huge award-winning showroom displays hundreds of the best quality lights and fans. There's not a brand we can't get, and our prices are the lowest, even lower than online. I guarantee it. And our knowledgeable staff is always here to assist you in making the right choices. If it's lampshades or repairs you need, we do all that too. There's something for everyone at BBC, including antiques, collectibles, fun for the kids, and our famous free popcorn. We are open Monday through Saturday and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue, across from Sobelman's and Bachman Furniture, all near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richlands Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
All right. But it's important to know accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Manchke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richlands Tire and Service Centers.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Get inside the mind of Mark Tauscher.
Pancake legitimately is like, hey, are you wearing a mask today?
See the world from his perspective.
Am I really this blank and ugly that Greg Pancake Hill would look at me and say, is that a mask?
On Wisconsin's Morning News, every day at 7:50.
Must not be a great mask. This is like the Dwayne Wade statue down in Miami.
Presented by Hello Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and Kohler Services.
There are a lot of interesting people and traditions in Wisconsin. 1 hour of covering culture and creativity in our state is simply not enough. I'm Sandy Max of WTMJ's What's on Tap with the happy news that my show is now expanded to 2 hours. So please join me weeknights from 6 till 8 for updates on festivals, films, food, music, theater, and other ways we love to make the most of Wisconsin life. What's on Tap with Sandy Max weeknights now from 6 till 8 on WTMJ. And subscribe to the What's on Tap podcast to listen anytime you want.
Is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, ahead of Packers-Bears, the final game of the regular season here at Lambeau Field, and likely the final game of the season here at Lambeau Field. Alex Strofe, the mayor, Steve Scafidi, Gabe Neitzel hanging out with you at the Tundra Trio just outside of Lambeau Field. And joining us now is ESPN NFL Nation reporter Rob Domofsky from inside of Lambeau Field. Rob, hold on. I'm very distracted. What happened over there,
I don't know.
Steve?
I cut my finger on something. All of a sudden, I'm bleeding.
Steve's bleeding everywhere. Doesn't even, again, he's so tough, he doesn't even know it.
Jesus.
This is why you wear gloves.
What the hell's going on out there?
All right, now we bring in Rob Domofsky from inside Lambeau Field. Rob, are you outside or inside as it is 9 degrees outside right now?
I am currently inside. I did step outside to take a look at the field, and it's the kind of day, as you guys know from being outside, that a team playing out the string might just say, screw it, and mail it in.
Yeah, it certainly could be one of those days.
So with that, Rob, what do you think the message from Matt LaFleur to his team was? I know he talked about how he regretted telling the starters back in 2021 when they had wrapped up the number 1 seed that, hey, you're only going to play a half. What was the message from LaFleur to his team in terms of how they prepared this week?
Yeah, the message to us, Gabe, and I assume, a lot of times when they're talking to us, they're really talking to the team. I assume the message was, let's finish this thing out the right way. Let's play the right way. Let's build momentum toward the postseason. Now, if the game ends up out of hand one way or another, if Washington, that game ends up out of hand, maybe he pulls some guys off the field. But the mindset this week around here has been they're playing this like it's a regular game, and they need to win.
Rob, this seems like the game where like the Meltons of the world and the Brooks of the world are kind of feast on a Bears team that, like we were just talking about, might not be that interested in playing. I see this as an opportunity for some of these guys who haven't had a lot of reps during the season to kind of shine a little bit in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, maybe, Steve, but it depends on like how the game goes. Like if it's a 10-7 game in the start of the second half, I still think I think they're playing their guys. I really do, and I think that if I were doing it, that's the way I would go. I just think you're not good enough to just coast into the playoffs. I think you got to finish this thing out. You got to build momentum, and because you're gonna have a hard game next week, regardless of where it is.
Any chance starters play the whole game for the Packers if it's a close game?
Yeah, I think there is a chance.
Oh, okay.
Okay, interesting. Rob Domofsky with us here on Green Bay Game Day. Alex Strofe, Steve Scafidi, Gabe Neitzel with you outside of Lambeau Field. Rob Domofsky inside of Lambeau Field. Just want to point out how tough we are real quick. Rob, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, both listed as questionable today. Doubs added to the injury report yesterday as the first aid kit has been broken out for Steve Scafidi's hand. So Romeo Doubs added yesterday with the illness. Watson obviously has missed the last few weeks. You think either of those guys go today?
No, Watson's not going to play. I don't think. Hardly practiced at all. Dobbs, it's one of those weird things where, did they just add him to the injury report because, just in case, his whatever his illness is didn't get better? Was it a 24-hour flu? Is he really under the weather? Those are hard to predict, but that could go either way. But I would bet that Watson does not play.
We had mentioned Chris Brooks, and we were talking about him earlier in the show today, Rob. How important has he been, and what kind of revelation has he been? You know, he's listed as a halfback, but he served as a fullback so often for those Josh Jacobs runs. How big has he been to this resurgence of a Packers run game this year?
Well, I think when you consider that, you know, at the start of the season, start of training camp, really, Gabe, they probably thought that A.J. Dillon would be their 2 and Marshawn Lloyd would be their 3, or vice versa. And neither of those guys is around. So the fact that Chris Brooks and even Emmanuel Wilson have been able to produce and be reliable and take care of the football, not miss assignments. I mean, heck, there was a game where all 3 of those guys scored a touchdown, right? I mean, that's you know, that's the kind of thing that you just don't expect, you know, at the beginning of a season. And those are the kinds of guys that, you know, they're not going to get a lot of headlines. But, you know, you think back to, like, the Super Bowl team of 2010 when they had all those guys on injured reserve, 15 of them, I think. And guys that you just didn't even think would be, you know, a factor at all early in the year end up playing important snaps for you late in the year. And Chris Brooks is definitely one of those types of players.
Hey, Rob, you look at stats and numbers a lot closer than I do. Jordan Love this year compared to last year, where does he fall? He's still at like 10 if you look at touchdown passes and yards. He's in that range. Yeah. Not the top 5 certainly, but he's had a pretty consistent year given he was injured for a few games. Where does that look? How does that look?
Yeah, you know, obviously the numbers are going to be a little bit off because he missed 2.5 games. You know, the totals. But, you know, the yards per game, things like that are, you know, they're not quite what they were last year. And you know, the important thing is that he's curbed the turnovers. You know, the last 6, I think is it 6 games in a row? I think maybe the last time he threw an interception was the last Bears game. So I think that, you know, he's curbed that. I think the big plays have been where it's just been a little bit more inconsistent this season. You know, and that's something that you got to hit on during the playoffs. You got to hit on big plays, and you got to take care of the football. And, you know, I think the first part of that is maybe not quite what it was last year.
I'm curious on your assessment, though, Rob, on Jordan Love and his evolution, right? He's still a young quarterback. He's still this is only his second year leading the charge here for Green Bay. You mentioned, you know, he's been able to kind of kick those turnovers to the curb that he was dealing with early on in the season. He's been good, not great, but curious on your assessment in year 2 here.
Yeah, I think that's fair, Alex. I really do. I think, you know, not saying he took a step back, but I think expectations were so high the way he finished last season. I mean, look, you know, Aaron Rodgers didn't make the playoffs his first year, made the playoffs, lost a wild card game in his second year, and then won the Super Bowl in his third. So, I mean, you know, let's not say if Jordan Love doesn't get to the Super Bowl this year, it's, you know, he's a failure. But, you know, this is still a young football team. I still think this team, in the grand scheme of the master plans, probably a year away. I mean, everybody that's important on this team, except for maybe Josh Myers, is under contract for next year. So I really think, you know, it was a 3-year, you know, sort of build pointing toward next season. Not that they can't get it done this year, but I do think you have to look at it with the eye that this is still a second-year starting quarterback.
Is the offensive line the best unit on this team?
You know, I kind of thought it was, and I asked LaFleur that a couple of weeks ago, and he sort of, you know, maybe he's just given his coach speak answer where we got to get more consistent kind of a thing. But I think the fact that they've been able to have the same starters for, I think, all but one game this year. I think it was just the first Minnesota game where they had to have the Josh Myers was out and Elton played center, and it was a rain game. Or maybe it was at the Detroit game. I can't remember which.
That was the Detroit game. That was the Detroit game.
Yeah, Detroit game. So, you know, other than that, I think the best offensive lines are the ones that, you know, play together the most often. And this group is going to have the same starters for 16 of the 17 regular season games. And I think that's hugely important.
What's Caleb Williams going to be thinking about today as he goes to Lambeau Field for the first time in his pro career? He's playing against a team that's going to playoffs. Their team is not. Obviously, they have how many losses in a row?
Yeah.
What's he thinking about today? Cold weather game. Coldest probably of the year for him. A horrible offensive line. We're just talking about the Packers. Great unit. Theirs sucks, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, Steve.
What's he thinking about today?
Yeah, I mean, like a normal human would probably think, why can't I play for the other team? You know, like
Right.
like why do the Packers have all this support for their quarterback and we don't now? He's probably not really thinking that. He's probably just trying to get through the day and end the season on the right note. But like this is a guy who, honestly, if I were them, I don't think I'd play him. This isn't the coaching staff that is going to be with you next year. He's had 16 games. What's one more game going to do other than risk injury or something bad happening? I wouldn't. We're talking about the Packers not playing guys. If I were the Bears, I wouldn't play Caleb Williams.
Rob, we're going to answer this question coming up next, but it's on the Carbless Talking text line from Dave and Aaron. I'm curious on how you'll answer this. He says, if the Packers end up the 7th seed, does it really matter in the end? Obviously, you want the easiest path, but eventually you have to face the best anyways. With the Commanders win in Dallas today, the Packers would be the 7th seed and go to Philadelphia next week. Does it really matter what seed they are, or does it just matter that you're in the dance?
I would be all for avoiding the best teams as long as possible. Maybe somebody else. Yep. Like that's my theory. So I think you want to be the best seed you can possibly be. Now, sometimes, you be careful what you wish for. You want to be the 6th, and then you go to LA and get your butt beat. But to me, I want to avoid the best team in my bracket as long as possible.
Fully agree with that. So, Rob, typically we wrap up this segment by you picking the game. But I know you're going to pick the Packers, so I'm actually not going to ask you about that game today.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you about the final game of the NFL season. It's the other two teams in the division that will be in the postseason. Vikings, Lions, winner gets the 1 seed, winner takes the NFC North. How do you see that one playing out?
Game's in Detroit, right?
It is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think the Lions win. I really do. Minnesota obviously has a lot going for them. I still trust the quarterback a little bit more in Detroit, and the atmosphere there is going to be difficult. So I'm going to go with the Lions. I know they're banged up. I know they're not the same.
Anzalone's back, though.
Yeah, that's big for that side
That's
of the
huge
ball.
for them.
No question about it. I'm going to pick the Lions. I think they're going to be the 1 seed, and the road to the Super Bowl is going to go through Ford Field.
Rob, how does Craig T. Nelson get the national anthem role today? How did that happen?
Well, it's the movie, right? The Green and Gold movie that they.
But can he sing? Is he a singer?
Yeah. Have you heard him warming up at all?
We're about to find. No, I have not. I usually do hear the anthem warming up. Maybe he's doing it somewhere inside because it's so cold. Look, we know he can coach, right? The old coach, but I don't know if he can
He's
sing.
a brilliant actor, but boy, that's a hard assignment.
That is a hard assignment.
Yeah.
Did you watch the trailer for that movie? Have you seen the trailer?
I have.
Yeah, it looks all right. It looks like the Green Bay version of Yellowstone, right? Like Yellowstone in Green Bay, and it were
Rob with the line of the day. Nice.
And if it were farm, Midwest farms instead of cattle out west.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at, I've seen the trailer. That's all I'm going to say on that one. All right, Rob, last thing for you, actually, this time. League MVP, who is it?
Boy, it's probably Josh Allen, isn't it?
Could be Lamar.
I'm taking Lamar.
I'm with you. I think it's Josh Allen and everything he's done there to make Buffalo. They lost a lot, not just offensively, but defensively. But the way he played this year.
There were questions too about that team and where they were headed, and the coach. Look, I wish Saquon Barkley would have played today, broken the record, and we could have had a non-quarterback possibly as an MVP. I think that would have been cool. But I understand why they did.
But as a football fan, I will say it's cool that this has been the best MVP race in how long, right? I mean, you've actually got – it hasn't been decided for 3 weeks like it typically is in the NFL season. So, entertaining year. Entertaining year that will get wrapped up in the regular season here today. Rob, we will talk to you next week, either Saturday or Sunday ahead of the wild card game. Appreciate the time as always, brother. Stay warm.
Or Monday. You never know.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
True.
They do Monday
Could
playoff
do
games.
Monday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday.
I don't think it'll be Monday. Typically, they have the 4 or 5 game via the Monday game. I don't think it'll be Monday. But
okay.
You never know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I don't think it'll be Monday. I don't think it'll be the Amazon game.
I don't either.
I think the Texans game has Amazon written right all over it.
If it's Packers-Eagles, it's likely the nightcap on Sunday, I would guess.
It's a good game.
Yeah. All right. Well, stay warm, boys.
We'll do our best using our hand warmers. Thanks, Rob. Rob Domofsky, ESPN NFL Nation reporter, joining us here on Green Bay Game Day. You can read him, ESPN.com. You see him all over the television, hear him all over your radio dial. Bold, bald, and beautiful, as we like to call him, the great Rob Domofsky, 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year. Alex Strofe, Steve Scafidi, Gabe Neitzel hanging out with you live from the Tundra Trio just outside the south end zone of Lambeau Field. We continue to preview this one. It's Packers and Bears, Week 18 of the regular season. I'm going to try to convince myself coming up next to get really excited about this game.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. See, Gabe's excited because he's
Fire
going
up,
with it.
guys.
Let's
Fire
go.
up.
We get me excited about Packers-Bears next.
Stay right here. Green Bay Game Day will be right back on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey, riding with you every mile since 1977.
I'm very familiar with Gruber Law Offices because they're always out in the community.
Gruber Law Offices are known to be honest, hardworking.
They're always involved in our neighborhoods.
Gruber Law Offices make our community a better place.
They are the best. For nearly 40 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped people throughout Wisconsin. If you're injured, we're here to help. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin would not be the same without Gruber Law Offices.
Sometimes it feels like you're down in the fourth quarter with the game on the line. Don't let your car care fumble your day. Score a touchdown with Tsunami Express Car Wash. Their state-of-the-art tunnels and free vacuums make cleanup a breeze. And their detail centers give your car an MVP shine. It's a game-winning drive every time. They're making it even easier to score big across Wisconsin with a 7th location now in Midtown Milwaukee. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Sign up online for your first wash free at tsunamiexpress.com.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, the certainty of protection and income are the keys to success. And as a former NFL player myself, I have experience with both. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game films helped me mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. Now I star in a new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception to help you visualize and prepare for your fourth quarter of life. You see, you don't retire on your nest egg, but rather the income it can produce. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. And it's free for you to view. Call 844-763-2837 right now for your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Don't risk your retirement savings at the goal line. You don't need to be risky to have a winning strategy. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Call today, 844-763-2837. That's 844-763-2837. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
This change has leveled us up while being able to maintain the same quality of service that we've always provided, with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission. We're proud to be part of the Century 21 family, so you can move fearlessly with the added confidence of top-of-the-line marketing for maximum home exposure. And that means more eyeballs and the real potential for the highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. With the ability to market luxury homes on a higher scale than ever before, Century 21 Benefit Realty has taken a huge step forward to tap into a global network of buyers. Maximum exposure to spotlight your unique home with our fine homes and estates marketing so you can sell it for the highest price. And with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission, you win. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Do it this time.
your hands up in the sky.
Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio just outside the south end zone at Lambeau Field at the Tundra Trio. We're up to 10 degrees.
Hey, double digits.
Hell yeah.
My computer is still at 52% battery. It has not moved one way or another.
That's not going up anymore.
The cold is draining it as fast as the electricity is charging it.
That is Gabe Neitzel. That is the mayor, Steve Scafidi, Alex Strofe, hanging out with you today. This segment is all about generating excitement.
Yes.
Right? I'm going to generate some excitement for myself ahead of this final game of the regular season. It's Packers-Bears. Excitement point number one. The Packers always beat the Bears. They've won 11 in a row, right? So I always get excited about Packers winning a game.
Are you like me? Do you hate the Bears more than any other team in the NFL?
The answer is yes.
So that should be the excitement. Like, they have just beaten down the Bears for so long. And I've got a Bears fan going, yep, that's true. That's true. That's exactly what they've done. Somebody
Catching
else
a bird,
yeah, somebody else is, how you doing over there, buddy? Hi.
They seem like nice people, but their team is just so hard to like.
I was just having a conversation with somebody.
So that's the thing. So again, you're not going into the game today, but there's excitement because, and the other reason there should be excitement for today, because we only get 17 of these, man. There's only 17, and this is the last one, the last tune-up before we get to the postseason for the Packers.
It's true. Any day I get to watch the Packers is a good day. You're right about that. Real quick side note. I was just talking to somebody from Chicago during the last commercial break, and he pointed out the last time the Bears won was not in the United States of America. The last game they won was in London. They haven't won a game in America since like early October. It's January 5th.
Wow.
Yikes. Isn't that nuts?
That's gotta hurt.
That stinks. Anyway, we were talking last segment about Craig T. Nelson.
Yes.
Obviously, longtime actor, 80 years old. He is going to be starring in the new film Green and Gold, which is about a farmer essentially betting his farm on the Packers in 96
betting
to
the
win
farm.
the Super Bowl. Betting the farm, literally. Now, Craig T. Nelson, there was a premiere. Charlie Barons, Mark Murphy were all there. Sandy Max had the opportunity to catch up with Craig T. Nelson for WTMJ News. But in what you're about to hear, Steve, you will get a preview of the national anthem from Craig T. Nelson. We're going to grade his performance. Take it away, Sandy Max.
The film stars actor Craig T. Nelson, best known for the TV series Coach. Nelson is in Green Bay this weekend to celebrate the upcoming release of the Green and Gold movie and to sing the national anthem at Sunday's Packers game.
Oh, say, can you? That's just a tidbit.
Is Nelson nervous?
Now I'm feeling the pressure.
Green and Gold premieres in theaters nationwide January 31st. Sandy Max, WTMJ News.
First take on that, he's going to screw up. I feel like he's going to screw up. He feels like he sounds confident, but I don't know.
That was only 4 words.
Yeah.
But he stopped right before. So the national anthem
hard to sing.
Is very hard to sing.
Challenging song.
You need to have a lot of rain.
Yep.
There's a lot of up and down. So if you're not an experienced singer, it can be real tough.
The lines are confusing because sometimes you move them around where they're not supposed to be moved around.
So, I mean, again, I think he hit those first few notes. Like, that was a B effort. I thought, he's not the best, but...
I was going to give it like a 7 out of 10,
Yeah. It was solid. But, again, that's right before it gets up to the C part where it's a little higher and you got to start showing off.
And then, by the way, 80,000 people are watching you sing this thing.
Oh, and also, it's cold as hell, man. Like, that just adds another layer.
Look,
Trying to hit some of those notes when your lungs have that cold air in them.
It's hard to talk when you're cold.
Yes.
Imagine singing a song as difficult to sing as that one is.
Have you ever had to sing the national? I mean, you were a mayor, so I don't know if you ever had to sing.
I wouldn't
the
put
national
myself in
anthem
that
or anything.
position. Are you crazy?
I'm just.
They didn't ask you to come sing at the Oak Creek High School football game.
Yeah, like the holiday parade, or I don't know.
I got to first pitch at the ballpark. I've got to
the ballpark being Anthem Field.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I've got to do a couple other cool things, but never sing at anything.
That's too bad.
That kind of
do you think you could rock the national anthem?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I can sing better than most, I think.
Sure.
Most average people.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. That's a hard song to sing. I don't want to
really
do
hard.
It.
Yeah, because going up and down, it's tough.
Okay, that no longer is generating excitement for me. Thinking about Steve Scafidi singing the national anthem.
No.
Other things that could generate excitement for me. Thoughts?
I mean, this defense. You want to get excited and continue to get excited about this defense. And I think
but
with
no Quay
Caleb
Walker,
Williams,
no Evan Williams.
Well, who cares about Quay Walker?
That's fair.
You know who you care about?
Edgerrin
Cooper.
Yeah.
Edgerrin Cooper's still playing in this game. Xavier McKinney's still playing in this game. So you're going to have some excitement generated there. Pro Bowler Rashawn Gary still playing in this game. That doesn't do it for you?
You know what will get you going? Sacks. A lot of sacks. If you get up to like 8 sacks, 9 sacks, double-digit sacks would make me the happiest fan in the world.
Yeah, you're right, and it would increase the Packers' season total, which is in the top 10 of the, maybe even top 5 of the league.
Although Willie always rains on the parade and said, well, like in
15
3 games.
of them were in 2 games, and 20 of them were in 3.
We saw
I
what
think.
this true pass rush is last week when they didn't really get much pressure on Sam Darnold outside of the first quarter.
Correct.
But, I mean, again, Jordan Love continuing to play. Like, this is one of the coldest games Jordan Love ever playing in. So, okay, how does he handle that? We've had quarterbacks in the past that have been able to handle that. Step up and show that you can handle a game like this where it's a little bit colder and the ball handling skills are still good. That's something I'm looking forward to.
You know what else will get you excited? Remember the Bears game a few years ago, 42-0 at half. That'll get you really excited.
Yeah, points.
When Rodgers had
excited.
6 touchdown passes in the first half.
I would love nothing more. And look, I've talked about this a lot this year. There's not very many opportunities, even if you're a good football team, for stress-free watches, right? Where you can sit on the couch, you can sit on your ear, or for you guys in the stadium, and you can sit there and just kick your feet up while you're drinking your beverage.
Saints game.
Saints game was a stress-free watch.
Yeah. My wife and I, we always separated because I'm yelling at the screen. And she doesn't want to hear. We sat together for the whole.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It was a nice moment.
Very romantic.
Good for our relationship.
Very good for your relationship.
Stress-free football. Good for the Scafidi marriage.
39 years and running, so we're good.
That's an impressive run, and impressive she's put up with you for that one.
That is the true point.
What a saint she is.
Absolutely.
Green and Gold fans, it is game day, just like Mrs. Scafidi. Kick off your tailgate with Bacardi. Whether it's Bacardi and Cola, lime and soda, or spiced and Cola, Bacardi is your game day go-to. Grab a bottle at your local retailer. Live passionately, drink responsibly. Bacardi USA, Miami, Florida. Rum 40% alcohol by volume. Speaking of your missus, she's at a tailgate party.
Yes.
Does that mean you're hanging out with us longer?
No.
So you're leaving us?
Yeah, he's
We're going to go meet and go in and get warm inside the stadium.
Okay. He's got to get to his box.
I could stay out for a little bit of Will. Is he coming up next?
He is coming up next.
The Jason Wilde hour.
You know, just to give him a little something, because I love Jason Wilde. I've called him a genius, and he hates when I call him.
He is a genius.
Oh, please do that. Please make him uncomfortable.
Yes, so let's make him as
for
uncomfortable
a little
as part.
Wilde, and then I'll get out.
So before we get to Wilde, though,
Yes.
I am going to get your game pick now. I assume
right.
Packers win.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be as big as a lot of people think it might be.
So you think Jordan Love's going to play quite a bit?
Yeah, I think I'm like 28-17, something like that. Okay. A little messy, some turnovers because it's cold. Guys drop the ball, maybe an interception. But again, it's about sacks today. And you mentioned either Gabe or you mentioned Bo Melton before.
Yes.
It's a day to do something.
It is a Bo Melton day.
It's one of those moments where, as a guy who doesn't get to play a lot, here's your national TV moment. Do something with it.
We will see. And I'm going to ask everybody on the show this today. Yes. Vikings or Lions tonight?
I'm taking the Lions. It's a home game for the Lions.
Okay.
They want this so badly. They want to be the ones. They want to host all those playoff games. I see the Lions.
You and Rob Demovsky on the Lions.
Yeah.
Okay. We will keep track of that throughout the day today. I'm really excited for that game.
It's going to be fun.
Are you guys as excited for that game as I am?
It's a great watch.
It doesn't seem like it, but I'm very excited. It seems like you're more excited for that game than just about any game you've been excited for this NFL season, including Packers.
Not
games.
including the Packers.
No.
Excluding the Packers, it definitely is.
Because you live and die with the Packers.
Of course.
Yes,
of
I know
course.
how you are.
I grew up 10 minutes from here, right? So, like, it was a birthright. But, I mean, in terms of other NFL games, I'm a huge NFL fan, obviously. I don't remember the last time Week 18 had a game with this level of implication, right? For the number 1 seed is on the line tonight. In the final game of the NFL regular season.
Yeah, I mean,
because usually that last game is like, okay, NFC South winner, you get the 4th seed, right? Which is still fun because it's win or go home. But tonight it's, hey, you win, you get a week off, and you get home field advantage to start the playoffs. You lose, you're going on the road next week.
It's a 14-win team.
Yeah, 2 of them. I mean, that's crazy. Will the NFL change seeding rules after this season?
If the competition committee doesn't at least discuss it after this year, because there have been wild card teams, with 12 wins, 11 wins in the 16-game season that's happened. But to go 14-3 and be a wild card team, I think the competition committee at least talks about, okay, winning your division gets you in, but we're going to seed this thing 1 through 7 based on your record.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
And if they,
who are you guys
and if they
picking in the
don't,
game?
if they don't talk about it, then it's never going to change.
I don't know who I'm picking yet. That's why I'm asking
Lions.
everybody else right now.
Lions.
Okay, you're adding on to the Lions bandwagon. I might be on the other side. I don't know. I'll reveal that pick at some point.
The
but-
Vikings are my second most hated team, so I can't cheer for them.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
So, okay, we will see. We will see. All right, we'll continue to preview Packers-Bears coming up next. Jason Wilde, the 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, co-host of Wilde and Tausch, will join us here in the really nice weather, 10 degrees here just outside of Lambeau Field. It's Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Green and gold fans, it's game day. And you know what that means. Tailgating with friends and raising a glass to our favorite team. This season, make Bacardi the star of your pregame party. Whether you're mixing up a classic Bacardi and cola, refreshing Bacardi lime and soda, or a smooth spiced and cola, Bacardi is the perfect pick for game day fun. Grab a bottle and get ready to cheer on Green Bay with the best in hand. Available now at your local retailer. Live passionately, drink responsibly. Bacardi USA, Miami, Florida. Rum 40% alcohol by volume.
Artwork, especially original artwork, can be pricey. But when you take it in on consignment from nice people like you who are just ready to change the look of their home, you can price it right. And you'll find a lot of it at Design Exchange. Beautiful frame pieces by a number of notable artists. And new ones pop in all the time. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Now these tend to fly off the shelves. But don't worry, because our connection supplies us with a lot of them. Vintage ceiling tiles from once great old buildings in New York City that make for ultra-unique artwork. These items are definitely hard to find from anywhere else around here. So come take a look, and you'll probably find a treasure. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're living with joint pain in your shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees, and you have Medicare or Medicaid insurance, coming to Rejuvenex to solve your pain problems is something you should strongly consider. First off, because our FDA-approved pain treatments have been shown in many cases to be highly effective at reducing inflammation and substantially alleviating pain. Secondly, Medicare and Medicaid cover Rejuvenex treatments, so your cost could be nothing, or next to nothing at all. Chronic pain will only worsen with age. This leads to a far more compromised lifestyle, depression, and soon they start talking surgery. And then what? You have to get in front of arthritis and chronic pain, because the sooner you do, by letting us begin to calm those pain points, the better. I'm Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, and we can alleviate your pain so you can rejuvenate your life. Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
So how do you underpromise and still get the job? We believe in our hearts we're going to do great work for you. We're just really careful about making unrealistic promises. At Semper Fi, we refuse to set the bar higher than we can jump. But be assured, that's the goal. To do all we can to jump as high as possible to try to exceed your expectations. We're looking to break records. That's how you win over customers, get really great referrals, and build a great business. When you're making a decision to hire an exterior remodeling company, character, integrity, and the feeling that the people you're about to hire are truly eager to show you how good they are should stand at the top of your list. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Got game?
Wait, what was the question?
Yeah, we've got game. We've also got...
Swims through his man and lays it in as he knights his way into the low block.
And...
He'll give to Giannis, and he says, I'll add some more to my tally. Thank you very much.
And who could forget?
Pulls up top of the arc. He got bumped, and he hit the three. Count that, baby, with another one coming.
Catch every Milwaukee Bucks basketball game all season long on your home for the Bucks. 620 WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Party people!
It's time to get this tailgate started and get you ready for the green and gold game. This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Broadcasting live from the shadow of the South End Zone at Lambeau Field. Alongside Gabe Neitzel and Super Bowl champion Jared Bush, here's Alex Stroh.
Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. We go 4 wide for one segment.
Ho!
The mayor, Steve Scafidi, hanging around for one more because you gave me a reason why you were hanging around. What was that reason again, Steve?
Jason Wilde. I always love hanging with Jason. I don't get a chance to talk to him that much because we're on at the same time, but I love Jason Wilde.
I believe you called him a certain word.
I called him a genius, but he hates when I call him that, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of words you can use to describe me, and that's not among them.
That's a new one I'm going to start working in on Dude Thursdays and Fridays.
Gabe Neitzel, Steve Scafidi, Alex Stroh, and now the 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, the co-host of Wilde and Tausch, the great Jason Wilde, joins us for the next hour on Green Bay Game Day. Your nose is running a little bit. You're not wearing a hat.
Well, I got to do TV tonight, and how do you wear a hat and then go home and, like, re-shower before you do TV? Like, I don't even know what to do.
Well, could you use
I'm not
the
big
locker room?
time. I'm not big time like you. These are things I don't have to worry about.
10 whole minutes on local television. I'm not the guy hosting a bunch of national radio shows every time I turn on my Sirius XM ESPN.
2 minutes in, he's mentioned his TV appearances already. How about that?
Yeah.
Big time.
He's
genius.
humble, too.
I hear I'm a genius.
You're a genius.
Genius and
well
humble.
done.
Jason, this one, I'm trying to generate excitement for myself because the Bears have lost 10 in a row. They're not a very good team. They're in complete disarray. The Packers, good team, obviously coming off a loss, looking for a get-right game ahead of the postseason. I'm not sure how long we're going to see the starters. I think it depends on what the score is. Can you help me generate some excitement for this final week of the regular season?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, look.
This should have been part of yes or no.
There you go.
That's true. You're not going to get a clear answer the rest of the show now. Look, I think there's a couple of things at work here. First of all, let's not forget, and Gabe and Chewy and I talked about this when Jen crashed our Dude Friday by actually being on the show on Friday. And look, there's still something to play for here. Like, this is not the Kansas City Chiefs who've locked up the number 1 seed and are starting Carson Wentz today, right? Like, this is different. There is something to play for. So that should be step one. You know, I don't know what the fighting Mike McCarthy's down in Dallas are going to be able to do. I am skeptical that with what they're doing at quarterback now, with Trey Lance scheduled to play a bunch, who has not impressed despite being the former number 3 overall pick. You know, I don't know what to expect from them. But if somehow they rise up at home in what might be Mike McCarthy's final game as coach, and they play an inspired game, there's a chance the Packers can be the 6th seed, and that is extremely valuable. You heard Dan Quinn, the coach of the Commanders, say we're going to fight like hell for that 6th seed because you don't want to run the gauntlet if you don't have to of going to Philly and then going to the number 1 seed and then going into the NFC Championship game on the road as well. So to me, there is something to play for. Secondly, you know, one of the things I heard from players during the week was that the streak against the Bears matters to them. They've won 11 in a row against them, and they don't want to be the team that loses the chance to win their 12th game against them, right? So that matters. But to me, the biggest thing that matters is how you play. And I don't care if it's against the Chicago Bears or the Ashwaubenon Jaguars. You didn't play well last week in a lot of phases. Matt LaFleur used the word sloppy multiple times. So against an inferior opponent, this is an opportunity to play well and feel differently about how you're playing, regardless of the quality of opponent going into the postseason.
Good
Did
answer.
I help you?
No, that was a good answer. Yeah,
that's what Ed Donatel used to say when we'd get done interviewing him, the old Packers defensive coordinator. Did I help you? Is that what you were looking for? And oftentimes the answer was, no, Ed, but you're very nice. Thank you.
So rather degrading coming from him, though, right? I didn't take it that way from you. Maybe I should have, but
no, it wasn't degrading. I think he was earnest. Like, I think he was really
okay.
You know, I appreciate guys that try to help us do our jobs because, as you've heard me say a million times, we're the conduit to the fans. I take that extremely seriously. That's why I'm here, even though I'd rather be at a 8th grade basketball tournament.
What's the Bears' approach to this game, do you think? Other than trying to win and beat the Packers, we know that's important to them, but this is a team that's done nothing at least since the 6th game of the season.
Yeah, and look, let's be honest here, right? It's not like they're playing for Thomas Brown. I think it's pretty clear he's not going to get the full-time head coaching job. I think pride does matter. I don't want to sound like the Vince Lombardi biography, but it does. And I don't think you want to be the team that ends your season having lost 11 in a row. I mean, it's incredible to me. You go back and look, and look, I said it at the time that they knew they had the number 1 overall pick. You knew you were going to take Caleb Williams. Nothing against Matt Eberflus, but move on from him. Start fresh all over the map, right? And they didn't do that. And so it's crazy to me to think that at one point they were 4-2 on the cusp of 5-2 if Tyreek Stevenson is paying attention during a Hail Mary. And how many times have you ever seen that specific thing happen in an NFL game? Never before that, right?
And then it led to 10 straight losses.
Right? I mean,
they just spiraled.
And that's the word I used when I asked both Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur about this, because, look, let's be honest. Last year there were chances for these guys to spiral. Maybe not lose 10 or 11 in a row, but you're sitting at 3-6, and quite frankly, they didn't play very well in that Chargers game. They're lucky that Keenan Allen and others, got the sun in their eyes and dropped passes, or they might have lost that game too. And so it is such a fine line. That's why even if I'm sitting here looking out at all our fans that are here at the Tundra Trio thinking, God bless you for going and freezing your asses off at this game, because I would not do that. I wouldn't, but they are, and that, to me, that's the kind of thing that if you have pride, I saw a lot of Bears fans as I was driving in, like, you would hope that Caleb Williams would want to end on a positive note. You would hope that these guys would have enough pride to play at a competitive level and say, we're not going to lose 11 in a row. We're going to end on a high note. And look, we've been here before, right? We've had teams with nothing to play for come in here when the Packers had something to play for and beat them.
Happened just, 2 years ago?
Yep.
When the Detroit Lions ended the Aaron Rodgers tenure in Green Bay. Speaking of going to the game and freezing your ass off, did you hear about the big news from somebody on our panel?
I have not heard the big news.
Somebody on our panel is attending their first Packers game as a fan in 15 years.
Is it Jarrett Bush? Because I was looking for him. I didn't see him.
Oh, that's
it is not Jarrett Bush.
Okay.
It's Gabe Neitzel. Gabe Neitzel's going to the game today.
What's up, buddy?
God bless you.
I mean, Scaffidi's going to the game too, but he'll be in his indoor club.
How many layers do you have going there?
He said he has four layers.
No,
it doesn't look like 4 layers.
Because it's so I've got the base layer is the important one. It's one of those Under Armour kind of cold layers. It's thin, but
it's
keeps
not
you
one
nice
of those
cold.
that has the heating coils built in like Lambeau Field's turf.
No.
If
you have one of those,
I was looking into them because
I
it
have
gets
one.
chilly.
I could have given it to you if I didn't know.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
I usually wear them because it gets a little cold in the press box.
Well,
I don't think those are Pella windows in front of me, and so the cold kind of comes through.
I love
when
when
I
he
sit in the
weaves in
front
the
row.
partners. He's so good at that.
He's so good. So good. As we are live from the Pella Windows Indoors of Wisconsin Mobile Studio. Steve, you're going to leave us, so I'm just going to give you the floor before you leave. And any questions you have for the genius?
When you're covering
Please
games
don't let that stick.
When you're covering games like this is the last game of the season, and the last game we're going to probably have at Lambeau Field. Are you happy that part's over? Because it's a job for you, right? But you love your job.
It is.
Is there a feeling like this part of my job is ending?
I'd like to have a genius answer for you, but I'll instead have an honest answer for you. Look, I spend entirely too much of my life, which is still a very tiny part of it, trying to explain to people how the not being a fan works, and it never works, right? People are always like, oh, you're Tausch. Every time this comes up, oh, you're just lying. You're lying to yourself. No, I don't. Frankly, I was hoping this game would be yesterday when they had a chance to play on Saturday, because the 8th grade basketball team that Sydney's on is way more important to me than what happens here. Now, it's a little different for me these days because for the first 21 seasons I covered the team, I covered every game, home and road, preseason, regular season, postseason. They go to Philly, I'm not going, which, again, I am okay with. But I think it just feels different because this is the last game at Lambeau that they will play this season. We're also getting kicked out of our offices for the offseason. I don't know if they're renovating the Packers locker room or what, but they're going to be using that new third locker room all offseason. So I got to make sure that I secure all my bobbleheads and everything that everyone enjoys on the tour. But
got a lot of stuff.
But I'll be honest with you. Like, as Packers fans, like someone like Strofe, who lives and dies with this, is getting ramped up for the playoffs. I'm kind of getting to that point in the season where it is a grind. I'm not curing cancer. I'm not doing anything important, but it is a long year. And if they were to check out early in the postseason, you will not hear me sobbing on the radio.
I won't call you a genius again, but I appreciate the work you do. I enjoy listening to it, and I certainly enjoy your writing.
Well, you guys are very kind, and what we're really lucky is that so many people actually care about what we do. I mean, going back to my point about I wouldn't go out there and sit in the stands with Gabe. Although maybe if I had one of those heating coil jackets, I'd give it a try.
I feel like you'd be one of the shirtless guys that we will inevitably see today.
I don't even want to go skins when we play basketball. I'm certainly not doing it out here. But think about how much people live and die with this team, and I have so many colleagues that cover think about what it's like to cover the Bears, right? Yeah. I mean, now it maybe is interesting at times because it's so dysfunctional, but it's like we're really lucky that we have such a passionate fan base that wants to listen to what we talk about, wants to read what I write, wants to watch me on television for 10 minutes every Sunday.
TV star.
Because I'm a genius. Mm-hmm. So I'm really thankful for that, and I hope that people are a little better informed and somewhat entertained after they listen to us and read us.
Well, the mayor, Steve Scafidi, battled through injury today, cutting his hand wide open.
Somehow
while we were
cut
talking
my finger while we were doing the
Rob
show.
Domofsky.
I don't know how it happened. I survived.
Sharp headphones.
But, Steve, appreciate the time all year. You volunteered to come do this because you're a season ticket holder. We love hearing from you.
I'm here. I love talking
thoughts.
about the Packers. I went to games in the late 60s in Lambeau Field when it didn't look like this, and I live and die with the Packers just like Alex and Gabe, so appreciate it.
Well, I went to my first Packers game when I was, I think, 5 at County Stadium. We had seats behind home plate, but my grandparents got season tickets when they would play at State Fair Park in the 1940s. So my brother has our family tickets because obviously I don't need them, nor do I want them. But it's, again, I'm glad that there are people that have been as devoted as you, especially considering that you lived through the 70s and 80s of my childhood when it didn't look like this here, and there weren't this many people that were all that excited to be at the game.
And a much different experience with the teams that were not like this team.
Those teams did not look like this team either. Steve, thank you, friend.
Thank you, guys.
Gabe Knight, Alex Strofe, Jason Wilde, roll on with you right after this. It's Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Now's the time to plan your total experience getaway to the Island Resort and Casino. With over 450 hotel rooms and a luxurious spa, relax in style before diving into nonstop casino action. Watch your favorite teams on the big screens and enjoy great food and drinks at T. McSee Sports Bar, or savor top-tier dining at Horizon Steakhouse. Then amp up your night with live music and comedy. Head where the big game, big wins, and big fun come together. The Island Resort and Casino.
I haven't had anything to eat for days, and being hungry hurts.
Going without oil changes can destroy your engine, but it doesn't compare to the effect of going without food. That's why the Automobile Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee is determined to make sure no one goes to bed hungry. Through March 1st, they'll donate $1 from every oil change to Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has donated over $890,000, providing more than 2.6 million meals to people across southeast Wisconsin, the majority being children and seniors. And with today's ongoing challenges, the need is greater than ever. So help the hungry while helping your vehicle. Get your oil changed by Adam Dealer Factory Train Techs at a price as low or lower than independent shops. Visit an Adam member dealer near you.
For a list of participating dealers, visit adamm.com.
We know what you're thinking, and all we can tell you is to drive careful.
Yep, Wisconsin roads are no joke this time of year, especially when you're driving on old, worn-out tires.
Schedule yourself a tire appointment with Richlands. We carry all sorts of tire brands, including Goodyear, Kelly, Continental, and General, to name a few.
And every tire we install automatically comes with free tire mounting, free lifetime tire rotation, free flat tire repairs, and free alignment inspections.
Not to mention free wheel corrosion cleaning, lifetime warranty spin balance, and prorated tire protection.
Let's just say if you're driving around town, especially this time of year on old worn out tires, you're due for tire service.
Courtney's right. And remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you have good tread on your tires because cold, wet, icy roads are no joke. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, and you're due for service.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Hey Bucks fans, it's Justin Garcia from the Bucks Radio Network, here to tell you about the launch of the Bucks Central podcast feed. Everything Bucks, on demand, in one spot. From sideline to sideline, hear all the ankle-breaking, rim-rattling, and twine-tingling highlights, exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe to the Bucks Central podcast feed wherever you get your podcasts. All the Bucks content your heart desires in one spot. Check out the Bucks Central podcast feed.
The Upswing is your place for commerce and community.
Are you seeing the customers expect maybe a different brand type in Green Bay than they do in Milwaukee?
Yeah, I think so.
Hosted by Jeff Sherman.
A little bit mid-tier price point people tend to gravitate towards in Green Bay. Of course, you have the high-end shopper up there, too. Definitely more towards the casual side of things.
Weekdays from 10 to 11 on WTMJ. Presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs. Spinning the state on Spanning the State.
Racine. O&H Danish Bakery in Racine has debuted its newest annual holiday Kringle flavor for the 2024 season. I like the pecan one, which has no fruit in it.
But it's still like something more than just sugar pudding. This is pure dessert now. You can't be like, oh, it's like a Pop-Tart. There's a little nutrition in it. You're like, oh, it's like it's an apple. It's an apple flavor. Yeah. So there's some apple in there. There's fruit in there. Pecans have protein.
Only on WTMJ.
You're listening to Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Is Brian Bulaga joining us?
What?
This is his walk-up music on our show.
It changed?
Oh, no, it's the Famous Friends.
Famous Friends by Kane Brown is his walk-up
Yeah,
music.
this is Morgan Wallen
and Morgan Wallen and Post Malone. Oh, did I kill the wrong mic? My bad. Let's try that again, Gabriel.
I was crowding Jason a little bit, so I took Scaffidi's headset.
You got to leave room for the delicate genius.
Yeah.
The delicate genius is what we're calling it?
It's a Seinfeld reference.
Oh,
You're
okay.
too young to get it.
Yeah, okay, apparently. Hey, Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason, distilled 6 times till it's just right. Tito's is known for great vodka, giving back, and doing good for dogs. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Speaking of offensive linemen like Brian Bulaga, you spend time with one each and every day. Mark Tausch, let's talk about the offensive line. Is that the best? Is that the best group the Packers have in 2024? Is that the best positional group, the offensive line?
Yes or no?
Oh, that's a good. And of course, I'll hedge, even though we're not playing yet.
I was going to keep it a little more open, but sure, if we want to put the yes or no moniker on it, we can.
I don't look. I think that they have played well for most of the season. I think to ask that question after how I thought they played and how Brian thought they played, because he knows way more about offensive line play than I do, after the way that the Minnesota game went, it's harder to say yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they had a tough go of it, but
everybody did.
No doubt, no question. But I would say this: I think. First of all, their protection and then Jordan Love complementing that with his ability to make some subtle movements in the pocket to avoid sacks like Rodgers used to do. I mean, they're going to go against a quarterback today who's been sacked 67 times.
Oh, that's all.
And Jordan Love was sacked 3 times last week, and we were like, what the heck's wrong with these guys? He had 11 sacks coming in, right? And so I do think that that's been a really good group. Now, I would argue this. I think, first of all, when I look at what they're able to do in the back end when they have everyone, and I'm not including Jair Alexander in that. I'm talking about Evan Williams. I'm talking about them having flexibility with Javon Bullard in some nickel situations, and then in others moving Keyshawn Nixon inside. Like, Carrington Valentine's playing really well. Obviously, Xavier McKinney has been a field-tilting player. So I do think that they're, and I wrote about this morning, I'm really curious to see if their secondary, which has played pretty well against some of the lesser competition that they've seen all season long, can they rise to the occasion now that we know Jair Alexander is out, now that Eric Stokes is playing pretty decent football? He still hasn't broken up a pass or intercepted one now.
Maybe this week. Maybe this is going to be the week, Jason. Fingers crossed.
I mean, is that going to be your big prediction again this week? Pick 6?
Maybe. I mean, it didn't work very well the last time. I mean, he hasn't deflected a pass since Scafidi was going to the games in the 60s. But the point is that he's playing pretty well. I think they're really excited about what Carrington Valentine is doing right now. So that would be a group that I would say can be that good, too.
Has he played well enough then where they can – I mean, he wouldn't command big money, obviously. Would they consider bringing him back on a one-year deal the way they did A.J. Dillon? Because if Jair Alexander's no longer here next year, do you really want to have to place Jair and Eric Stokes and really remake that positional group, or is that something they could potentially be interested in?
Well, as you know, they have the cap room, and they will certainly have draft ammunition. If they want to go heavy at corner, they could, right? But
I've got that money already earmarked for T. Higgins, so let's good. You know, that's what I've got it earmarked for. Maybe Goody's got some different ideas. Love to hear them.
Wouldn't that be something if they paid T. Higgins, who they chose not to draft when they chose to draft Jordan Love? And there are certainly people that believe, despite how good Jordan Love has turned out to be, that maybe they are a Super Bowl winner in the 2021 window if they had drafted him.
Or they sign him and then win one with Love and Higgins next year.
Playing four-dimensional chess.
Yes.
That's Gabe. Genius, some might say. Look, the comp that I am thinking of, and he's not playing at the same level that this guy did at the time, but Nick Perry had his one good season when they didn't pick up the fifth-year option, and then they signed him to a pretty significant deal.
Yeah, it was a pretty sizable deal.
But they signed him to a one-year deal when they didn't pick up the fifth-year option. Then he played really well in that year, got the big deal, and then disappeared again.
Yep.
Like, that would be my concern actually about Eric Stokes, right, is that you say, okay, we're going to bring him back. You pay him a decent salary, and then he either has injury issues or inconsistency, and you haven't gotten any better.
I mean, when it comes to rebuilding the room, though, they did it this offseason with the safety position in terms of free agency and the draft.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they can repeat that performance, but that should give you at least a little bit encouragement that it's possible, because this safety group is worlds better than it was the past couple of years.
Yeah, but I think they've got, I mean, defensively they've got issues despite now having a Pro Bowler on the front four. I think there's some issues that they need to address there.
All right, hold on, time out. Rashawn Gary Pro Bowl shot counter by Gabe today is up to 2. Continue.
It's a 3-hour show.
A lot of show left, too.
I think that's another position that they're going to have to look into, not necessarily completely overhauling, because, well, Rashawn Gary certainly is going to be there. They just gave the big contract to Kenny Clark. Obviously, Lucas Van Ness not going anywhere, but I think they need better players there, and that's another thing that we saw last week, is not being able to generate pressure by bringing 4. Yeah, every once in a while you can have games where you can dial up pressures and have these exotic things, but you can't do that consistently over a 17-game season. Halfley can only do that so often. You need guys that can go out there and win one-on-ones, the way the Packers just have not been able to do this year.
The Island Resort and Casino is a premier resort destination, the largest north of Milwaukee, with everything you'd like to do in one awesome location. Visit islandresortandcasino.com and book your total experience today. It's Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Stroff, Gabe Neitzel, Jason Wilde with you. We got plenty more to get to in the Jason Wilde Hour, and actives are coming up next. We will get to some yes or no, and we will get Jason Wilde's game pick, all still ahead right here on Green Bay Game Day.
We're back with Green Bay Game Day after this on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Ready to elevate your game? Whether you're into basketball, soccer, volleyball, or pickleball, OAW Indoor Sports Complex in New Berlin has it all. Rent our state-of-the-art turf fields and hard courts, perfect for teams, birthday parties, or corporate events. Looking to improve your swing? Check out our advanced golf simulators. And parents, don't miss our summer camps and toddler play zones for endless fun. Visit OAWindoor.com to book your spot today. OAW Indoor Sports Complex, where champions train and memories are made.
Hi folks, this is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. With colder weather in the forecast and no festivals to attend, our showroom is a year-round festival the whole family will enjoy. Read our reviews. Our store has it all, including the finest lighting and ceiling fans available, such as Visual Comfort, Hubbardton, Tech, and hundreds more at unbeatable prices. I guarantee it. If it's repairs or lampshades you need, we have all that too. There's also unique sports and historical items, neon lights, slot machines, and much more for sale. You'll find fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. BBC is open Monday through Saturday and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue near Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
In Heartland, you're going to find a focus on distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original artwork, along with tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. In Pewaukee, the focus is on kitchen, outdoor, and garden decor, and all of it is priced at 25 to 40% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value.
Design Exchange.
By now you've probably figured out what's most important to us at Semperfi is our reputation. Building a great character-driven remodeling company is actually quite easy. It's just the first 20 years that are a bit challenging. Great companies are collections of great people, and we have great people. They're the ones that helped us build our reputation, but they only come after you've built something they want to be part of. We don't necessarily have to look for good people. They come to us. And that's what you want when you hire an exterior remodeling company. Someone who's going to stand behind their work, and a company that is truly proud of their people. And it's because they do great work. And when you're ready, we'll do great work for you too. This is Brad Youngluth with Semperfi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semperfi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
If you missed this.
How was your time at the Vietnam Wall?
Very touching. I know 11 people on that wall. We had a chance to look up some of them on there. It was very, very moving experience for me. I held it together, though. I could feel the floodgates start to open a couple of times.
Or this.
President and CEO of Special Olympics Wisconsin, Chad Hirschner, joins us live in studio.
This is a place where they belong, they feel comfortable, they make friends, they learn to become leaders.
Check out Wisconsin's Afternoon News, the podcast.
This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Stroh, Gabe Neitzel, Jason Wilde. We are fighting through here as in the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studios. We just accidentally locked Gabe Neitzel out. I think that was Jason.
I was about to say, was it an accident? I can leave if you guys want. I can take a hit.
It was not accident.
Okay. See you, Gabe.
All right.
See you, Gabe. Time now to take a look at today's injury report, which is presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Visit orthowisconsin.com today for info. I will pass it over to Jason Wilde with this. Several of these we already knew, but a couple surprises on the injury report today.
Yeah, so, look, we knew that Quay Walker wasn't playing. We knew Evan Williams wasn't playing. We knew Zane Anderson wasn't playing.
And Andre Dillard.
And, of course, Jair Alexander, who went from out to on injured reserve. But he could be back for the Super Bowl.
It's his birthday, I hear.
It is his birthday, February 9th. But the others, Brenton Cox, who was listed as questionable, he's got a foot injury from last week. I think maybe from one of those low blocks that have become very controversial lately. He is out as well. And one wide receiver is out.
Okay.
But it is not Christian Watson. He is active today, but Romeo Doubs, who was added to the injury report yesterday with an illness, is out today.
Okay.
So number 9 is in, number 87 is out.
I'm okay with 87 being out.
But but it's also a numbers game. Like, and this has been, a clip that's been going all around because every coach gets asked throughout the course of this week, whether you're a current coach, former coach, because I know Belichick was asked about it when he was on McAfee this week about, okay, how do you handle this last week? Everybody thinks that, you just play all the backups. There's only 45 active guys. Like, you can only make 7 of those guys inactive in any given week if you have a full roster. So it's not like I don't know if Christian Watson still plays a ton of snaps, but there's still only so many guys that can be inactive in any given week.
So as far as I'm aware, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, when they moved Jair Alexander to IR, they did not make a corresponding move.
No,
correct?
they did
so
not.
They only
So
have
they didn't
52 on their active roster, right?
And to Gabe's point, you can always just deactivate more players than you even have to, like the Eagles have done. Jalen Hurts, Darius Slay, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Nakobe Dean, Saquon Barkley, Zach Bond, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, and Jalen Carter.
So, a.k.a. all of them good players.
I've never seen an inactive list that long in the regular season. Like, that's a preseason scratches list.
That's crazy.
You also have 100 guys on the roster then, so it's easier to make up for.
Exactly.
So let's go back real quick to Christian Watson, and then we'll get to an abbreviated version of yes or no.
It's the best kind of yes or no.
I'll save it for the last segment. Don't tempt me with a good time. I am really intrigued by the fact that Watson is active today. Now, to your point, with Doubs out, it's a numbers game. It's a good opportunity for him to knock off rust, but I'm a little worried that this could equal another injury for Christian Watson, who has not been all that durable throughout his tenure as a Green Bay Packer.
Yeah, I think to Gabe's point, I don't know how much he's going to play. And look, he certainly, I think on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, when they play the Open when I join you, it's a clip of me saying how this offense is different when he is on the field. That I firmly believe that. That's not hyperbole. It is different. And I think you saw last week when they were going against a team that was trying to keep everything in front of them, playing man coverage. Like, you really thought that there were some opportunities that if you could get someone out over the top, you might be able to make some plays downfield. And they didn't make any last week. So, again, you guys, we joke about this all the time. And the fact that Jordan Love, I said I was a helicopter parent, and he told me I was a helicopter beat writer.
That's a good line.
But it's true, because I had told him, look, you can't run all the time and take the risks you do, and I still stand by that. But I would be really cautious today because, like, for instance, someone asked Josh Jacobs, "Hey, can you handle 30 carries this week?" No, and not because he can't handle it. Because why the hell would you put him at risk like that? Like, he's such.
When does he carry the ball 30 times ever? Has he done it at all this season?
Yeah, he did it against Tennessee. He had 32.
Right.
That's it though, right?
Right. When they didn't have Jordan Love, and when So look, I think this is a balancing act, right? And so, but if you're gonna have Christian Watson active, you are intending to play him at least some of the time. And again, I go back to what we said at the very beginning when Scafidi was here. After the way they feel they played against the Vikings, they need, the ideal scenario here is you get 3 drives, you score 3 touchdowns, you're up 21-0, you're feeling pretty good. You can start slowly diminishing the playing time for the most important guys.
Not that he's the number one, not that he's the best, but is Christian Watson, because of that speed element, the most important wide receiver?
I think so. I just and if you listen to the coaches, one of the other things they talk about is how he can play every position they have, right? And that to me is valuable because you're not always going to have these 5 guys that are all kind of one-ish, but none of them are truly ones, right? And we've had that debate, right? We watched last week, like, the Packers did a great job against Justin Jefferson in the first half. And then in the second half, Justin Jefferson was Justin Jefferson.
They did a great job against Justin Jefferson, but because they did such a great job on Justin Jefferson, there goes Jalen Naylor.
Jalen Naylor. Of everybody, all those great weapons.
But that's the point of having a one.
Exactly, and that's
Correct.
when I think of, and I think of this game in 2014, and Devontae Adams obviously took more time, but in 2014 when the Packers played the Patriots here at Lambeau Field, and Bill Belichick has talked about this since then. Their plan was, we're taking away Jordy Nelson and we're taking away Randall Cobb. And then if Devontae Adams, who was a rookie at the time, beats us, then he beats us.
He did.
And he did. He had like 125 yards in that game. So when you have receivers of that caliber that take that much attention away, it can open up things for other players. And that's why I agree with you that I think Christian Watson is the most important at this point, because that speed element makes defenses pay attention. When you don't have him like last week, you can just go, hey, we're playing cover 3 or playing man-to-man. We don't have to do anything different with what we want to do because we're not that scared of any of the other 3.
Yeah, as much as I love Bo Melton, who is one of the all-time great dudes I've ever covered, that he is not striking the same level of fear. He's fast, but it's just not the same impact.
No, absolutely. It is time now for everybody's favorite game. It is time to play a Packers-adjacent version of Yes or No with Jason Wilde.
Will today be the day there are black and white answers from our most respected journalist?
No.
Possibly. I think we shouldn't be greedy. Maybe. You would certainly hope so.
It's time for Yes or No with Jason Wilde.
Let's go. Yes or no with
Packers
Jason Wilde.
Adjacent?
Yeah.
Or Packers adjacent?
Oh, Packers adjacent.
You dropped the ball there.
I blew it.
Well, not all of us are geniuses.
Well, that's why we keep you around, right there. Genius.
Is that? I mean, I love Scafidi.
Yep.
He's such a great guy.
One of the all-time good guys, yes.
But genius. Holy cow. But geniuses
Well,
come
you think
pretty
we
cheap
think we've
these days.
dropped? Just throwing that
bar
word
is
around
low.
willy-nilly.
Week 18 in the NFL, the New York Jets have been eliminated from playoff contention, which means this is the final Jets game of the year. Yes or no, this will be Aaron Rodgers' final NFL game.
Well, great. That's perfect because that is definitely one that I cannot answer yes or no on. And I'm torn on this because he has at times looked old. He has certainly looked miserable at times. And so
Best years of his life, though, Jason.
That's what I heard he said.
Ridiculous claim, but it's a claim.
Yeah, I'd be, again, someday when he and I chat, hopefully in some sort of podcast form, that will definitely be a question that is posed to him. But, on the one hand, if you're that miserable and you've got other interests, as I'm sure Enigma depicts, I haven't watched it, proudly, I think there's part of him that's probably ready to walk away. The competitor in him, though, I just have such a hard time picturing him being able to walk away in this.
Agreed.
The point that
But the
Brian
issue
Bulaga
is-
made, and you're going to make it right now, I predict it because I'm a genius, is that who's going to want him?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Right?
I think the competitor in him wants to have another season, but also there's a part of him that wants to protect himself at all costs, and I'm sure he's been back channeling. I'm sure there have been conversations, with his agents and across the league of where he could potentially end up. And if nobody wants him, he's not going to want to depict that. He doesn't want that out there. So he would rather retire than, I want to play another year and then not draw any interest.
Yeah, I don't think it will be, but that's the point that I'm really intrigued by, is where would he end up? Because I don't think it's New York when they're rebuilding that coaching staff. And
I think
else.
an interesting spot for him, honestly, and some of it would have to, again, he would have to check himself a little bit and then accept that this type of offense is the best thing for him to be in, because I think over the years, in the short term that he had with LaFleur, it evolved kind of doing some of the stuff he wanted, and stuff. He just needs to run it. If San Francisco decides that they don't want to pay Brock Purdy $60 million
Correct.
and they decide to trade him away, I think Aaron Rodgers can end up in San Francisco.
Yeah, and obviously that fulfills.
But that's a huge
circle.
if. That's a huge if.
But it is an intriguing landing spot for him. Let's go to Dallas.
Real quickly, the other if that I have is if he is willing, to your point, to humble himself.
Yes.
Right. He went into New York as the king of New York. Everybody's gonna do what I want. They're gonna get the play caller I want. We're gonna get the guys I want. If he is willing to humble himself to say, for the good of my career in this team, I'm gonna approach it differently with another team, then I think there'll be opportunity. I really do.
Let's go to Dallas. Former Packers head coach Mike McCarthy, as Gabe pointed out to me earlier, did not see this story. Mike McCarthy has hired a new agent in the last couple weeks. Yes or no? This will be Mike McCarthy's final game as the head coach of the Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't know that one either, but I will say the one thing that I am fascinated by is the idea of him being the Bears coach.
And that's one that's making the rounds.
I kind of hope it happens.
I definitely hope it happens.
Yeah.
And here's why.
I don't.
Because it's bad for the Packers.
Yes.
You still believe in him as a good head coach.
That winning streak the Packers have over the Bears, if Mike McCarthy becomes the head coach, it will end at the hands of Mike McCarthy.
I look at him and Tausch's big bugaboo about it is that everybody thinks Sean Payton is such a genius, and their careers are almost identical.
Correct.
Right? And Mike McCarthy doesn't get that same respect.
It's a great point.
And look, I don't know, is Ben Johnson, who has never been a head coach, going to be the perfect fit for Caleb Williams? Maybe. And if that works out for the Bears, great for them, and maybe that's the path they go down. But I'll tell you this, I don't know if the Bears would win a Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy as their coach, but they would win a hell of a lot of games.
Because that's what he's done. And yes, he's had his struggles certainly in the postseason. And the one question that gets thrown out there, can Mike McCarthy develop a quarterback? Does anybody remember what the mechanics of Aaron Rodgers looked like when he was coming out of Cal and Jeff Tedford? I know Rodgers doesn't like to give McCarthy credit, but Mike McCarthy's the one who cleaned that up for him.
Mm-hmm.
Mike McCarthy's the one who got his fundamentals to where they were, that when he took over for Brett Favre, he was ready to go. McCarthy can develop a quarterback, and I think that's why I do not want him in Chicago.
Fully agree. But don't forget to give credit to the guy who's also helped Jordan Love out a heck of a lot in Tom Clements.
Right, and also don't forget to give Mike McCarthy credit for getting Dak Prescott to play the best football.
Great point also.
Well.
Great point also.
And he also, when he first showed up, he got Brett Favre to play great football for the first time in a while in that 2007.
29 interceptions the previous year.
So that's, he has a history. Again, people don't like to give him credit, but he would do a lot of good for Caleb Williams in Chicago if that's the route he decided to go. Because again, I don't know if it's strictly a Jerry Jones decision. He's hired Don Yee. Maybe he's trying to back channel and see what other potential openings would be for him if he decided to walk away from Dallas.
One more for you, but real quick, just coming in from Ian Rappaport. He says, quote, several people close, end quote, to Aaron Rodgers say he is preparing for this to be the last game of his career. From Ian Rappaport. Take it for what it's worth.
He should prepare for that, right? Because it is a possibility, right?
If you've listened to him at all the last 2 weeks, it sounds like a guy who realizes his football mortality is close.
He walked away. Maybe he knew. Maybe it was just because it was the last game at Lambeau, and he knew he was going to go someplace else. But I firmly believe when he walked off, with his arm over Randall Cobb after that Lions loss a couple of seasons ago, I don't know if he knew if he was playing again.
Yeah.
Because that's the way his body language, that's the way it kind of looked to me. So I think he's kind of preparing as if, again, now he's following in the steps of Brett Favre of will he retire, won't he retire? But
there's so many similarities
It's incredible that he once said, I'm never going to be like that guy.
And
all he's got to do now is take
play
some
for the
money
Vikings.
that doesn't belong to him.
Oh, jeez, that's not the route I thought you were going with that. All right, last one for you. Lions-Vikings tonight is the final game.
Was that wrong?
Yeah, that was wrong.
Should I not have done that? No, not me. I'm perfectly fine with me. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's just a great joke.
Did I do that? What was I saying? Vikings-Lions. You distracted me with the farm joke. Vikings-Lions is the final game of the NFL regular season tonight. Yes or no, this is the most intriguing regular season game of this football season?
Oh, I don't think it's the most intriguing game of the football season, but it's certainly the most intriguing game of the slate of weekend games. And the fact that there's so much at stake. Like, there's part of you at this point in the year that you would like to have the flexibility to say, okay, we're going to play these guys this much. We're not going to play these guys, whatever. These guys, you know, the Lions and the Vikings, home field advantage throughout the playoffs, regardless of how often the Packers have squandered it in recent years after never having it during the Rodgers era. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And I would think the Lions, as a team that is as banged up as it is, would love nothing more than to have a bye week to get healthier.
I don't think whoever loses that game can't go to the Super Bowl. Whoever wins, I think will.
Oh,
interesting.
That's a really interesting take. That's a guy who does national radio right there. Gabe Neitzel, Jason Wilde, Alex.
I just
Some
think,
might say genius.
Especially with the Lions, with as banged up as their defense is, even though they get Anzalone back today, having an offense that can operate in that home field environment is only going to help out that defense where they can get off the fast starts, put pressure on other opposing offenses coming in. That is just so incredibly important, as beat up as they are.
It's a great point.
We will wrap up the Jason Wilde Hour. Coming up next, we will get his game pick, his final thoughts ahead of the final game of the regular season. It's Packers-Bears, a noon kickoff here at Lambeau Field this Sunday afternoon. We are up to 14 degrees here in gloomy Green Bay.
Well, what's the computer at?
52%, like it's been all day. It has not moved 1% either direction, despite being plugged into the wall.
The energy getting drained by the cold as quickly as it's being charged.
We wrap up the Jason Wilde Hour right after this. It's Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Stay right here. Green Bay Game Day will be right back on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you can win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
Ring in the holiday season with Carbless. Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Brad Nortman. Zero carbs, zero sugar, zero guilt. Carbless is gluten-free, just 100 calories, and is sure to give you that head start on any New Year's health resolution. You can go with fruity lemon or black raspberry flavors or a margarita variety pack. I know the cranberry flavor will find its way to every gathering for me this year. Make your holiday grocery list and check it twice. Be sure Carbless is on it. Let's toast to a full, festive, flavorful sip this December with Carbless. Less is more.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, the certainty of protection and income are the keys to success. And as a former NFL player myself, I have experience with both. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game films helped me mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. Now I star in a new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception to help you visualize and prepare for your fourth quarter of life. You see, you don't retire on your nest egg, but rather the income it can produce. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. And it's free for you to view. Call 844-763-2837 right now for your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Don't risk your retirement savings at the goal line. You don't need to be risky to have a winning strategy. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Call today, 844-763-2837. That's 844-763-2837. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
You're right, and I'll agree. It does sound too good to be true, but offering you affordable treatment that alleviates pain, which really does work, that we've seen in most cases insurance paid for in full, is a definite reality. It's pain relief. Really. And these are FDA-approved treatments. They're safe and proven to reduce inflammation and alleviate pain. Yeah, you'll have to get a couple of shots, and I know that can scare people. But the needle is extremely small. And after giving shots like this hundreds of thousands of times, you'll see we make it very easy. You're going to feel the relief that our powerful pain relief agents give you. They're pain relief drugs that solve pain problems. And the way I feel is that Rejuvenex should be the first stop for anyone living with pain in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. At $65 per joint, per injection, it's probably the most affordable pain relief option available that actually works. Rejuvenex Google reviews will tell you more.
Don't count us out. Not
Lillard
yet.
scoops to the hoop, lays it in. The Bucks have taken a 1-point. Lopez in transition, squeezes up a three, and he drilled it. The Bucks throwing fire.
This season is far from over.
To work with, drives inside and stuffs it down with the right hand. 59 points now for Giannis. He's tapping his chest as he goes the other way, saying, "This is my house.
We are the home of the Bucks.
This is my house."
WTMJ.
Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, with you live, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, and the legendary 620 WTMJ. I'm Alex Strofe. Gabe Neitzel, the three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year. Jason Wilde with us for a few more minutes, about an hour away from kickoff. This is the last home game of the year. I just want to remind everybody, in 3 minutes, fireworks are going to go off.
It's still going to catch you off guard.
It always does.
I'm reminding you guys, so when I jump, we could say, hey, you just told us about those. Jason, Packers-Bears Week 18. Packers are 1-4 in NFC North play this year.
Mm-hmm.
Despite likely being, they are, an 11-win team, could be a 12-win team with a win today. Does that play into the, hey, we need a win because our division, we have not played well in divisional games this year? Or is that not really the thought process? It's just, hey, we're playing a game we want to win.
I mean, we heard that from a few players talking about that. Xavier McKinney said that. But I'm gonna kind of steal my parting thought from our buddy Jared, who walked over to us. You can watch him right over here. He's totally engrossed in conversation, so he has no idea that I'm using the point that he made when he walked over, which was, I thought, a great point. Some might say genius, because it really
Word of the day.
I had not even thought about this possibility, frankly, and that is if the Packers were to lose. Let's say they play an uninspired game against the team that would love to just close out an otherwise going nowhere season with a win.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly now you've lost to the Vikings. You've then lost at home, and you could say it didn't matter because the Commanders blow out the Cowboys today or something. But the way you are playing, if you back into the postseason playing some of your worst football of the season, that is not the way you want to go into playoff football. And so, I think that's what Matt LaFleur was selling to his guys throughout the week was, look, he was tough on them. Like Tausch always says that coaches try to be tougher on teams when they win and kind of lift them up a little bit when they lose. But I think Matt LaFleur took the approach of, hey, that team that played in Minnesota, that is not who we are. We got to get back to being who we are. You're playing an opponent that should give you the opportunity to do that. If you don't, you are really not feeling great about how you're going into the postseason. And I think it's a remote possibility, obviously. But let's be honest. Who among us on any of our shows, from Mr. Irrelevant or Weekly Wildy or our show or your show, how many of us entertained the possibility that they would possibly lose to this team? We didn't talk in those terms, did we?
Not
we talked
one
in terms
second.
of how early can they get a big enough lead to get guys out of the game? And so if they are sloppy, if they are uninspired, if they are flat.
If they start slow, man, this could get weird.
It
got you? Damn it.
Anyway.
It called me out.
You knew it was coming.
Every week.
I thought it'd be too cold for you to jump like that.
Oh, it scared me again. Okay, anyway, I'm sorry. I haven't talked 1 second about the possibility of losing. But if they start slow, Could get weird.
This
Could
is
get dicey. But this is a very winnable game. I don't want to get that twisted.
I mean, it's a team that was talking about vacation 3 weeks ago.
DJ Moore was, yes. But also Jalen Johnson, their one Pro Bowler this week, said, bleep him. That's my mindset, which, to be honest with you, I kind of respect that out of Jalen Johnson. But they are a sad team. I mean, they've lost 10 games in a row.
I mean, look, I think when you're in a position like the Bears where you've lost 10 in a row, you know this coaching staff isn't coming back. It's tough to stay motivated like that.
Sure.
You have to have a lot of that self-motivation. Some guys, maybe like Jalen Johnson, will have it. Other guys like DJ Moore won't. And that's where, again, when you're not everybody's going to be on the same page, that's why the Packers should be able to do in this game what they did against the Saints a couple of weeks ago.
You think they learned from their mistakes coming off the bye where they let Caleb Williams get after them with his legs? You think they can contain Caleb a little bit better than they did in matchup number 1 today, Jason?
I do, and even Jeff Hafley did mention this when we talked to him on Thursday, that, they had the new coordinator and they didn't really know what he was going to do, right? And I think they went into that game thinking, all right, Caleb's going to get the ball out of his hand quickly because they've been so bad about that and he'd been sacked so many times. And he was right, they did. But what they found was they also had him get out of the pocket quickly if it wasn't there. And they clearly were not prepared for that to be as frequent as it was.
How do you grade Quay Walker's season? Not playing today, obviously, continues to be banged up and down. I feel at the beginning of the season we felt that he had to really earn that fifth-year option. Did he earn it?
Great question.
I don't think he necessarily earned it because let me back up. So I have a soft spot for players or teammates who take responsibility and are extremely self-critical and are hard on themselves and are always striving to be better, as opposed to, all kidding aside, thinking that they're God's gift and they're so good and they don't have plenty of room for improvement. And he is, I spent a long time talking with him a few weeks ago before his injury and before he kind of caught fire a little bit for those couple of games.
2-3 games, whatever it was.
And he really, the folks that don't like Quay Walker, I wish you, and I hope with what I talk about and what I've written about, they've gotten a taste a little bit about him, because he cares about, if you want a guy on your team that cares deeply, I'm telling you, there are plenty of guys in the NFL who don't care as much about whether their team makes the Super Bowl as their fans do. They really don't. They move past it when they lose a playoff game. Quay Walker is as conscientious and as self-critical a guy as I've covered in a long time. And I thought that the shame of his season is the timing of his injury came right when he was really starting to get it in this defense. He wasn't, running into the wrong gap when the guy was coming right at him and he ran into the wrong gap anyway. He was having those moments were disappearing from his game. I would have loved to have seen him finish the season doing that all the way through, and I would love to have seen him with Edger and Cooper, because I feel like those two, they have a vision, and Jeff Hafley has a vision for what they could do together. And I think ultimately, even though it was based more on potential than on production, I think he will get the fifth-year option. I do.
Interesting.
Is a lot of that because Hafley has his back too? Because that's what, even when he was playing poorly in the first half of the season,
no doubt,
Hafley. And again, Hafley, sometimes you got to step up there as a coach and say what you have to, like he did with Rashawn Gary, Pro Bowler this week.
Right. But you could tell.
But you could
he
tell
was
with
that.
you could tell that with Rashawn. But I feel like he truly had Quay Walker's back in that first half of the season.
That's a ricochet shot from
that's 3.
Dave Knight's number 3.
That's 3. Yeah,
to Rashawn Gary. Yeah. All right, Jason, get in there, get warm. Appreciate the time as always, brother. We'll talk to you next week ahead of whoever the Packers play in the wild card round.
All right, and just to all of you who've been watching on YouTube, not Bears colors, just to happen to be an orange jacket. Just happen to be an orange jacket.
So what are your warm garments? Did you have any other options than bright orange?
I have an Oregon jacket.
Which is green and yellow.
Which is green and gold.
So, no good option in terms of the teams playing today.
No, I have that red one that I've worn at times, but that's not thick enough.
That's not thick.
Cold.
Yeah, okay. All right, we'll
and
get
you
in
look
there.
really cold. Are you're not going to the game?
I am not. No, I'm jumping in my car and driving straight back to Milwaukee as soon as we are done here.
All right.
And Gabe Knight's, you don't think he looks cold? I think he looks cold.
No, he looks ready for action.
Let's go.
He's not as soft as you are.
Let's go. Less than an hour away from kickoff. Gabe and I roll out with you next. It's Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
There are a lot of interesting people and traditions in Wisconsin. 1 hour of covering culture and creativity in our state is simply not enough. I'm Sandy Max of WTMJ's What's on Tap with the happy news that my show is now expanded to 2 hours. So please join me weeknights from 6 till 8 for updates on festivals, films, food, music, theater, and other ways we love to make the most of Wisconsin life. What's on Tap with Sandy Max weeknights now from 6 till 8 on WTMJ. And subscribe to the What's on Tap podcast to listen anytime you want.
Now's the time to plan your total experience getaway to the Island Resort and Casino. With over 450 hotel rooms and a luxurious spa, relax in style before diving into non-stop casino action. Watch your favorite teams on the big screens and enjoy great food and drinks at T. McSee's Sports Bar, or savor top-tier dining at Horizon Steakhouse. Then amp up your night with live music and comedy. Head to where the big game, big wins, and big fun come together. The Island Resort and Casino.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta. Whether I'm headed to a big college football game or just need a reliable ride, I trust AccuTrans Group. They're a veteran-owned business that delivers top-notch transportation, perfect for game day or any event. From tailgates to team outings to corporate travel and weddings, AccuTrans has you covered. Booking is a breeze, and their service is always safe and dependable. Visit AccuTransGroup.com to book your ride today. That's AccuTransGroup.com, your go-to for reliable transportation this football season.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richland's Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
All right. But it's important to know accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Mitchke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richland's Tire and Service Centers.
Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
I haven't had anything to eat for days, and being hungry hurts.
Going without oil changes can destroy your engine, but it doesn't compare to the effect of going without food. That's why the Automobile Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee is determined to make sure no one goes to bed hungry. Through March 1st, they'll donate $1 from every oil change to Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has donated over $890,000, providing more than 2.6 million meals to people across southeast Wisconsin, the majority being children and seniors. And with today's ongoing challenges, the need is greater than ever. So help the hungry while helping your vehicle. Get your oil changed by Adam Dealer Factory Trained Techs at a price as low or lower than independent shops. Visit an Adam member dealer near you.
For a list of participating dealers, visit adamm.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Party people! It's time to get this tailgate started and get you ready for the green and gold game. This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Broadcasting live from the shadow of the South End Zone at Lambeau Field. Alongside Gabe Neitzel and Super Bowl champion Jared Bush, here's Alex Stroh.
Away we go, hour 3, kinda. Green Bay Game Day.
I mean, technically, yes, it is hour 3, just starting I mean, in honor of Wilde and
I
Tausch,
was just going to say, we are on 9 to noon, so I'm running the Jason Wilde clock. It's 11:10, start of the third hour. Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. That is the great Gabe Neitzel, Alex Strofe hanging out with you for about 50 more minutes as we lead you
We're
up to
throwing
kickoff.
around words like they mean nothing today.
What did I say?
Yeah, the great Gabe Neitzel.
I think you're great.
Jason Wilde's
I
a
didn't call
genius.
I didn't call you the legend. I didn't call you the incomparable.
Words have lost meaning on Green Bay Game Day. That's how cold it is.
Well,
We
hold on a
can't
minute.
comprehend.
But hold on a minute. You got to think about who's saying the words. If me calling you great really carry a lot of weight.
No, but again, still words have meanings. We're in a communication business, pal.
Yeah, we are. And hey, by the way, I have a communication degree. Thank you very much. So I think I'm allowed to do whatever I want. We're leading you up to Packers Bears here at Lambeau Field, about 50 minutes away from kickoff, the regular season finale. For the second year in a row between these two teams here at Lambeau Field. So I mentioned it to Jason there briefly, Gabe, but wanted to bring this up with you again. Caleb Williams in this first matchup between these two teams really looked good when it came to running the football. The Packers had a tough time slowing him down when it came to him running the football. Do you have more confidence today that they can slow him down and take away that part of his game?
Yeah, I mean, and I was a little surprised that the Packers were as unprepared for it, and I understand that wasn't really a part of his game until Thomas Brown became the play caller, which, again, just tells you how bad Shane Waldron was as their OC, but you've seen everything now on film. I think that, yes, Hafley is going to be more prepared. I feel better for it. I think a lot of teams have started to figure out what the Bears are doing offensively, which is why they've struggled so much down the stretch. So it's not something that is concerning. That doesn't mean that they're going to completely shut everything down, and I'm sure there are a couple of times, because Caleb Williams is a good athlete, where he's going to evade the rush and pick up a first down with his legs at times today, but I don't think it's going to be like it was a couple of months ago in Chicago.
So when it comes to the betting world, oftentimes you'll say, hey, this guy is close to this stat, or today is his birthday, or they just had a kid. You look at some of those things. Today is Virginia McCaskey's 102nd birthday, the owner of the Chicago Bears.
Happy birthday, Virginia.
Does that give them a leg up today?
I don't know if they. I don't know if they know. Yeah, I mean, when you're the owner and you're that far removed, there's no way they know.
Oh, well, I'm sure there was like a social media post or something like that.
Sure, but maybe.
Okay. 102, though. Impressive.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a good run.
Yeah, that's
a great run.
A really good run for Virginia. So with Caleb Williams, and look, I'm always so torn on this, because Jason always puts it this way, who just joined us, Jason Wilde, of Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin. He wants this rivalry to be rejuvenated a little bit. I do too, except I still want the Packers to win every time, if that makes sense. So,
you want the Bears to be good, but just the Packers to win every time.
I do not. Good. I want them to be like 500, but have a quarterback, right? Like when they had Jake Cutler, it was fun because he was like your favorite Bear because he always threw interceptions. I want Caleb Williams to succeed.
That was my answer. I don't know if that social media video came out.
It did,
that was,
yes.
that was the question. Who is your favorite Chicago Bear? And I answered Jay Cutler.
Because he was kind of like a Packer, right? Like
same old Jay.
Exactly. And, I'm kind of hoping Caleb succeeds, just never against Green Bay. Because, number one, he is a dynamic quarterback. He's fun to watch, except the colors he's wearing.
Yeah, I mean, he can be. Again, I don't know if I'm necessarily rooting for him in the Bears in success. I disagree with Jason as a fan. I don't want this rivalry to be renewed. I want the Packers to win the next 40 games against the Chicago
I'm
Bears.
with you on that.
I want that to happen. I want the Bears to be miserable because Bears fans want me to be miserable.
It's true.
So that's part of the fun of having a rivalry and being a part of a rivalry as a fan. But they have some pieces. Look, the Bears are at a very important crossroads. They already screwed this up by keeping their head coach. If only they could have known. They just did it with their previous quarterback. That keeping their head coach was a bad idea. This is an important crossroads for them this offseason. Hiring the right coach, getting the right processes in place, and making sure that that they're ready to go, that they can start building around the young talent that they have.
Green Bay Game Day. Gabe Neitzel, Alex Strofe hanging out with you from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio just outside of Lambeau Field as the American flag is ushered in Lot 1. Carried by, it's typically about 100 people, it looks like, that carry the American flag from the Hudson Center across the street into Lambeau Field. I always like looking at the jerseys here, Gabe, just to see if there's any wild ones. So what's your biggest worry today? What is the biggest threat the Bears pose against the Packers today?
Honestly, I think it's Caleb Williams kind of getting loose a little bit. If he gets some runs going and then he finds a little bit of rhythm, getting the ball to the outside to his receivers. Because even though, we saw Carrington Valentine have that interception last week, even though Eric Stokes, as Jason pointed out, has been playing better despite not having, the pass breakup or interception to finally end that streak. But I think it's that. If he finds a little bit of that rhythm and then they're able to take advantage of the Packers cornerbacks the way that the Minnesota Vikings and Sam Darnold were last week.
Yeah, this Bears defense is not Vikings level good, but it's a decent defense, right? It's not like it's been the worst in the league by any measure, right? So I mean,
this was going to be the strength of the team heading into the season.
Correct.
Because that's basically what saved Matt Eberflus's job, because after they made the trade last year and they were able to, the last 7 or 8 games after that trade deadline, they were a top 5 defense. And that saved Matt Eberflus's job. That was the reason he was brought back in. So there is talent, certainly, over on that defensive side of the football. But I think the Packers, even without, Romeo Doubs and probably Christian Watson being pretty limited, I would think, today, the Packers still have a lot of talent on that offensive side of the ball that should be able to handle the Bears defense.
That trade that Gabe alluding to, of course, for Montez Sweat, who leads the Bears this season with 5.5 sacks on their defense. Yeah, Jordan Love's coming off of a 3-sack game.
Yep.
He's been sacked 14 times all year. Right? I mean, that is an absurd amount.
And yes, he missed 2.5 games, but still, when you still factor that he has played in,
Yeah, in terms of, I think it's drop back to sack percentage, he is the best in the league.
Correct.
Of every active or every eligible quarterback, which I think there's 34 of them. He's number 1 in the league when it comes to that statistic. So it's incredibly impressive.
Yeah, it's not like when Malik Willis came in. It's not like Malik was getting sacked a ton either.
Well, no, he wasn't passing. He wasn't dropping back much either.
True.
So I number 1 would like to see a rebound in that category, right? 0 sacks allowed today would be impressive.
And look, I think you will, because the Minnesota Vikings, as much as I make fun of Rashawn Gary being a Pro Bowler, like, they have 2 very talented pass rushers among the league leaders, and what they've been able to do to generate a pass rush this year with Brian Flores, the fact that he's getting thought about as getting another chance as a head coach. That's how good that Vikings defense has been. The Bears defense is not held in that same regard. If they give up 3 sacks again today, I am going to be a little concerned heading into Philadelphia, Los Angeles, wherever they end up going next week.
Yeah, fully agree with you on that. All right, we've got some more business to take care of here in hour number 3. We've got to take a look at our best bets, which are presented by the Island Resort and Casino. We've got to make our Gruber Law offices one call. I don't know if you want to make a New Year's resolution. We've been doing some thematic.
We've been some different ones,
Gruber Law offices one calls. I don't know that with only possibly 1 game remaining that we should make New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, like a resolution would be more about 2025 and next year's team.
Yeah. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to make our Gruber Law offices one call, one prediction for the upcoming game. And, of course, we've got to make our game picks, kind of try to hash out how this one comes out. We've got to figure out what happens in Dallas between the Commanders and the Cowboys. What seed will the Packers be? Will they be the 6th seed or will they be the 7th seed traveling to Philadelphia next week? All still ahead. It's Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
Ready to elevate your game? Whether you're into basketball, soccer, volleyball, or pickleball, OAW Indoor Sports Complex in New Berlin has it all. Rent our state-of-the-art turf fields and hard courts, perfect for teams, birthday parties, or corporate events. Looking to improve your swing? Check out our advanced golf simulators. And parents, don't miss our summer camps and toddler play zones for endless fun. Visit OAWindoor.com to book your spot today. OAW Indoor Sports Complex, where champions train and memories are made.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you can win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
I'm Tony Drake from Drake & Associates. Should I delay my Social Security benefits or should I start taking them right away? The truth is, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. Your decision can impact your income for the rest of your retirement. At Drake & Associates, we help you create a strategy to maximize your benefits so you can make the most of what you've earned. Social Security is just one stop on your retirement-ready roadmap. Take the first step today. Text SS to 414-897-9522 to claim your free retirement toolkit and get a copy of my book, Get Retirement Ready. Don't leave money on the table. Text SS to 414-897-9522.
Drake & Associates is an independent investment advisory firm that offers different investment vehicles. All insurance products are backed by the issuing insurance company. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only.
Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
Another brewery group is ending its run in Milwaukee, but will continue on as it's bought out by a larger organization.
Eric Bilstad.
The driver of the Tesla Cybertruck that exploded outside a Trump hotel in Las Vegas is now being identified.
And traffic with Debbie Lozica.
894 eastbound still lit heavy from the Hale interchange all the way to 84th Street.
The news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ. The Political Power Hour with Steve Scafidi.
Will it be too disruptive to come in fast and furious day one or week one of the second Trump administration and totally blow up significant pieces of the Wisconsin economy? That's the tough part.
Hearing from political experts from across Wisconsin and beyond.
And the impact to that won't be seen until afterwards, depending on how far the Trump administration goes on this.
Weekdays from 9 to 10 on WTMJ. While you rest on the weekends, we work for you. Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. The latest in news.
The amount of energy people are using is going up. Power companies are changing where that power comes from.
Entertainment.
This is the culmination of these tour journals of all the weirdest shows I've played.
And more.
Anybody who looks at this institutionally would never allow recess appointments to happen when a Republican president gets elected because they'll know what will happen if a Democrat gets elected.
Every Sunday morning starting at 8 on WTMJ.
Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. Distilled 6 times till it's just right. Tito's, known for great vodka, giving back, and doing good for dogs. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly. It's Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin with the ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ. I'm Alex Strofe alongside the great Gabe Neitzel.
You don't have to keep doing that, but I will say this.
Oh, boy.
I feel like this
I have no idea where this is going.
I feel like this, honestly, as we get closer and closer to game time, because it's the first time I'm going into Lambeau as a fan since 2010. Obviously, I've been in Lambeau a bunch. Usually it's with credentials, sitting up with Wilde and Domofsky in the press box where it's nice and warm. Even though it is very cold.
Yep.
I can't remember the last time I was this excited for a Packers game.
Well, it's probably because you haven't been as a fan in a while.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
I think there's an excitement, and which is still so cool.
Yeah.
Because because Lambeau is such a special place that even though I've been in there as a member, a credential member of the media, to be able to go in as a fan again, like the fact that Lambeau still is that special and can still is there some meaning to this game? Yes, but there's a little bit, but it's a relatively meaningless game.
Yeah.
In a very cold environment, and yet I am psyched to go into this game.
The only piece of advice I can give you, do not do the wave when the Packers are on offense. Matt LaFleur will say some nasty things about you after the game. We don't want that.
But, I mean, Yeah, I'm not a wave guy anyway, so I won't try. I'm not going to sit here and try to defend it.
Oh, okay, good. Time now to take a look at our best bets, which are presented by our friends at the Island Resort and Casino, which is a premier resort destination, the largest north of Milwaukee, with everything you like to do in one awesome location. Visit islandresortandcasino.com and book your total experience today. Well, Vegas has been thinking all week, right?
Yep.
How much are the starters really going to play? Is Jordan Love going to play in the second half or not really?
This is always an interesting week for lines.
Yes.
So, for example, yesterday we had our first 20-point line in the NFL since 2021.
Wow. I didn't realize it had been that long.
Yeah, and the last team that was favored by 20 points, the Arizona Cardinals.
Wow.
Were favored by 20 points over the Texans. They did cover much like the Baltimore Ravens covered yesterday.
Sure did.
But then you've got a line today. I know Denver's at home playing Kansas City backups, but Denver's still favored by 11 in that game. The odds makers trying to figure out what these lines should be. This is always a tough week, and I think it's probably a tough week to bet because you as a fan, have no idea what some of these teams are going to be running out.
Today's line probably appropriate. The Packers are favored by 10.
Yes.
We just don't know how long the starters will play. We knew they will play, though, at least a little bit. Finally, though, Vegas has said, Gabe, Jordan Love lines, we're ready to release them.
Okay.
190.5 passing yards is the line today. A little bit higher than I anticipated. 190.5.
I'm going to take the over. I think he gets to 200 yards passing today. I think the Bears, especially early, are going to be really focused on trying to slow down Josh Jacobs. And, teams have obviously been trying to do that, and Jacobs has still had success, especially early. But I think that could open up some things. You hit one big pass to Christian Watson, and you're well on your way to over 200 yards. And hopefully that's something that the Packers can do today.
Josh Jacobs' yardage, not allowed. Yeah, nothing in there. DeAndre Swift is in there, though, who did not have a very big game against the Packers last go-around. His total yardage, so rush and receiving, 62.5 today. Do you think DeAndre Swift makes a big impact?
I don't.
62.5 seems high to me.
Yeah, I think I would take the under on that total, just because I think the Packers are going to want to stack the line of scrimmage and try to challenge, Caleb Williams to navigate this weather. Okay, you want to try to throw the football. We're still going to throw 8 guys in the box. We're going to try to slow down your running game. Go ahead, try to throw the ball to the outside. See how your receivers handle it. See how you handle it. I think that's the way that they're going to be attacking early, which means DeAndre Swift not going to have a huge impact in the game.
My front runner for random jersey of the day so far in the parking lot, Ty Montgomery, one I used to own, actually. So he may have bought my former one from Goodwill.
Why?
I haven't seen that many random ones yet today.
Why?
Why did I own a Ty Montgomery jersey?
Correct.
Because I loved Ty Montgomery when he was transitioned from a wide receiver to a running back, and Lil Wayne was tweeting about how he was going to name his next child after him. That's when I bought into the hype.
You Lil Wayne were the ones that were huge on Ty Montgomery.
Yeah, rightfully so. That was the run the table season. It was a very fun year, very fun one. DJ Moore, who was thinking about vacation 3 weeks ago. 56.5 receiving yards today.
I'm going to take the under.
I
think he's checked out. If there's a receiver that's going to have a big game for them, it's not going to be DJ Moore.
Like Rome Odunze?
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. Caleb Williams, a little bit higher than Jordan Love's. It's 201.5, just over 200 yards passing. 201.5 today.
Man, that seems like a really good number.
That is a good number.
I feel like that's a good.
Wait, are you saying Vegas knows what they're talking about? Is that what you're implying?
but again, week 18, you might be able to sneak a good one here and there out of Vegas. But I will say under. I'll take the under on that because here's the thing: if the Packers get up by a bunch, the Bears are going to follow suit. Like if Malik Willis comes into this game, the Bears would be smart to pull Caleb Williams because at that point. If you are trailing by so much, only bad things can happen to the future of your franchise. Mm-hmm. So I think if Malik Willis is in the game, Caleb Williams will be out of the game for Chicago.
I really hope we see Malik Willis today, and I think we will. As long as it is not a close game and the Cowboys are winning in Dallas, then we might not see Malik Willis, but that's about the only scenario.
I think we get Malik Willis no matter what. I think that the Packers get up by
21-21?
Well, then we see Jordan Love.
Right.
Yeah. But I think no matter what, regardless of what happens, I think the Packers are going to be up by enough that they're taking Jordan Love out and putting Malik Willis in.
The total today is 41.5. 41.5 the total on Packers-Bears coming up in about a half an hour.
Under.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, I actually don't think the Bears will score that many points.
Either do I. I mean, again, they're coming off a game where they scored 3 last week against the Seattle Seahawks. It's not an offense. And again, they can't help but be dysfunctional because they finally had something going with Thomas Brown. They needed to put somebody else in charge so Brown could continue to foster that relationship and can continue to grow with Caleb Williams. And instead, our quarterback likes the play caller. Let's make him head coach. And since that's happened, there's so much that you have to consider. And you've gone now from passing game coordinator to offensive coordinator to head coach in 3 weeks. And I think that was probably a little too much, unfortunately, for Thomas Brown. I do not blame him whatsoever. They put him in a bad position. And ever since he's become the head coach, it seemed that connection that him and Caleb, while it still exists, the offense hasn't been the same that it was in those previous games before Brown became the interim.
I don't feel bad for the Bears. I don't feel bad for the organization. I don't feel bad for the players. I do, however, feel a little bad for Thomas Brown. He got thrown in an awful situation.
Oh, yeah.
And he hasn't won yet.
Nope.
He is 0-6, 0-7 at this point?
Sure.
That's brutal, man. Yeah. If he doesn't win a game in his time as interim head coach, like that's tough. That's a tough break.
That is tough. And again, for him, it makes you wonder if he would have just stayed the offensive coordinator, could they have won a game? Could he have potentially stayed as the offensive coordinator? Could he have gotten an opportunity elsewhere as an OC? Like there are a lot of what ifs in that situation, but because he goes in there, they go 0, like you mentioned, 0 for the season with him as the head coach. I wonder if he gets another shot as an OC or if he's going to have to continue to work his way up the way he was planning on with the Bears when the season began, when he was their passing game coordinator.
This is a tough one to predict, but we'll do our best. We'll make one prediction east. We will take a look at our Gruber Law Office's One Call coming up next. Gabe Neitzel, Alex Strofe with you. It's Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
We're back with Green Bay Game Day after this on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey, riding with you every mile since 1977.
Green and gold fans, it's game day. And you know what that means. Tailgating with friends and raising a glass to our favorite team. This season, make Bacardi the star of your pregame party. Whether you're mixing up a classic Bacardi and cola, refreshing Bacardi lime and soda, or a smooth spiced and cola, Bacardi is the perfect pick for game day fun. Grab a bottle and get ready to cheer on Green Bay with the best in hand. Available now at your local retailer. Live passionately, drink responsibly. Bacardi USA, Miami, Florida. Rum 40% alcohol by volume.
This change has leveled us up while being able to maintain the same quality of service that we've always provided, with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission. We're proud to be part of the Century 21 family, so you can move fearlessly with the added confidence of top-of-the-line marketing for maximum home exposure. And that means more eyeballs and the real potential for the highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
We know what you're thinking, and all we can tell you is to drive careful.
Yep, Wisconsin roads are no joke this time of year, especially when you're driving on old, worn-out tires.
Schedule yourself a tire appointment with Rich Lawns. We carry all sorts of tire brands, including Goodyear, Kelly, Continental, and General, to name a few.
And every tire we install automatically comes with free tire mounting, free lifetime tire rotation, free flat tire repairs, and free alignment inspections.
Not to mention free wheel corrosion cleaning, lifetime warranty spin balance, and prorated tire protection.
Let's just say, if you're driving around town, especially this time of year on old, worn-out tires, you're due for tire service.
Courtney's right. And remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you have good tread on your tires because cold, wet, icy roads are no joke. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, and you're due for service.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
The Political Power Hour with Steve Scafidi.
Will it be too disruptive to come in fast and furious day one or week one of the second Trump administration and totally blow up significant pieces of the Wisconsin economy? That's the tough part.
Hearing from political experts from across Wisconsin and beyond.
And the impact to that won't be seen until afterwards, depending on how far the Trump administration goes on this.
Weekdays from 9 to 10 on WTMJ. Spanning the State with Kristen Bry and Brian Noonan.
A sinkhole has caused havoc.
The streets want to eat cars. The earth is just turning against us in Whitefish Bay. This time, we can't just blame the earth. This time, we have to blame the arrogance and stupidity of a driver. Then that's nature saying you deed around and you found out. Drove around
Isn't it an
and
act?
found out. Well,
Isn't an act around it?
Not when you're driving. When you're driving, it's deed.
Oh.
See, I did a little play on words there.
Only on WTMJ.
Presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. They really, 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 really suck.
I might just let this play. I don't know if
This is all we need for the final 25 minutes?
Yeah, crank it up, Max. Let's go.
The Bears still suck.
Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Strofe, Gabe Neitzel, hanging out with you from the Pella Windows and Doors Wisconsin mobile studio just outside of Lambeau Field. Everybody's starting to shuffle in ahead of Packers-Bears, less than a half an hour away from kickoff. The oldest rivalry in the NFL renewed for one final time, the 2024-25 season. The Bears, losers of 10 in a row. In terms of this rivalry, Matt LaFleur, since he became the Packers head coach,
undefeated, never lost.
11-0 against Chicago, looking to make it 12-0 with a win today ahead of wild card weekend coming up next week. The
You
Packers,
doing okay?
Yeah, I'm cold. I'm cold, naturally. The Packers currently the 7th seed in the NFC. With a win today and a Commanders loss to the Cowboys, the Packers would bounce back up to the 6th seed, meaning they would either play the Rams or the Buccaneers. If the Commanders win today, no matter what, the Packers going to the Eagles next week. You know what's really fascinating, Gabe, is as you get to Week 18 and later in the season, the playoff picture really starts to clear up, right?
Yeah.
In the NFC, only one team is locked into their seed, and that is the number 2 seed, the Philadelphia Eagles. Isn't that kind of wacky?
That is kind of wacky because you can have a lot of movement with all the other seeds. Yeah, because, Tampa Bay could technically move up to the 3 if the Rams lose. And, all over the place.
It's all over the place. The AFC playoff picture a little bit clearer, but the final team in has not been decided yet. With the Bengals win last night, they are looking for a Broncos loss to the Chiefs, backups. The Broncos are 11-point favorites.
Yep.
So that one not likely. And they are also looking for a Miami Dolphins loss to the New York Jets in likely or maybe Aaron Rodgers' final NFL game. So lots of
but it looks like Tyler Huntley going to be starting that game for the Dolphins. Tua, I believe, is doubtful right now for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I believe it looks like Snoop will be the starter for Miami. So it could be a good old-fashioned Snoop Huntley versus Aaron Rodgers battle in the afternoon slate later today. But anyway, the playoff picture is starting to crystallize. The Packers hoping for a Commanders loss and a win today. They would be the 6th seed heading to either L.A. or Tampa. It's time now to take a look at our Gruber Law Office's one call, which means Gabe and I each make a prediction of something we think will happen in the game. Gruber Law Offices has a reputation for winning. Their experienced and powerful team works tirelessly to help people and families seriously injured in accidents by providing the best care and service. There is never a fee until your case is won. Gruber Law Offices has been serving the people and state of Wisconsin for over 35 years. Gruber Law Offices, one call, that's all. Gabe, I'll let you lead it off.
All right, I'm going to go a little wacky, a little off the wall for this one. I'm going to look at special teams.
Oh, boy.
It is a cold day. The ball's not going to be flying very far on kickoffs. Keyshawn Nixon is going to get opportunities today, and Keyshawn Nixon is going to have a kick return for a touchdown in today's game for the Green Bay Packers.
Okay, you went wacky. I'm also going to go wacky. I don't know if I'm going quite that. I don't know. It might be as wacky. I think we see two different guys get into the end zone via rushing touchdown today.
Okay.
Those two guys have names. Their names, Jordan Love and Malik Willis. I think Jordan Love and Malik Willis each have a rushing touchdown today because, as you mentioned, it's a little chilly out. Ball probably won't be flying too much. I think this is going to be a ground and pound game where the Packers get up to the goal line a couple times, and Malik Willis and Jordan Love each have the opportunity to get one in the end zone. So I'm going to take a rushing touchdown for each quarterback on the Packers roster today.
We've talked a lot about Malik Willis today. I have thought about the throw he had to Jaden Reed against the Saints way too much the last 2 weeks. That thing was just a laser.
Yeah.
Just a laser.
Dude's a good backup. I don't think,
which is still incredible, like because it's not like one person missed. It's not like I was sitting here banging the drum of this guy stinks.
Right.
It was nobody stood up for him.
Nobody.
When he was traded to the Packers, he had former teammates being like, he's a good dude. He's just not good.
He can't play ball, right?
Yep.
And I always think back to your co-host Jen Latta, Jen Gabe and Chewy, weekday morning, 7 to 9, ESPN Milwaukee. She had that report that he, quote, struggles with football.
Yes.
End quote. He's 3-0 in games he's played. Well, 4-0 if you count the Saints game. But 3-0 in games he's had a serious impact in this year for Green Bay. I mean, it's awesome to see the revitalization for his young career, and he's going to have more opportunities going forward, which is cool.
And I know people want to give Goody credit for it, which you can, and I don't want to, detract from Goody. But he didn't think that he was going to be this good, right?
No,
nobody thought that Malik Willis could be this good.
He also didn't think he'd have to use him, right?
Correct.
Especially as early as he did week 2 and 3 are games that Malik Willis started early on in the season. Both wins, one here against Indianapolis and then one on the road against his former team, the Tennessee Titans. So, yeah, I think we see Malik Willis again today in some capacity, whether that be late, whether that be after halftime. He's going to get in the game. And you know what? He deserves it. For the efforts he's made this year, he deserves one final run at it, whether that be, Packers up big and he's just handing the ball off a ton. He deserves to get back in the football game because he served the Packers well this year. Now, if you want to give Goody credit, you can with the news that came out this week. You've referenced one of the Pro Bowlers a few times, jokingly. Would you like to take your fourth shot at him?
Not right now.
Okay, gotcha. The other two Pro Bowlers selected for the Packers, total of 3 Pro Bowl starters for the Packers representing the NFC in the 2025 Pro Bowl games, were the free agent signings this offseason. The big swings that Goody took. Josh Jacobs, the running back, who obviously has been the team MVP, in my opinion, for this Packers team this year. And defensively, Xavier McKinney, who at one point led the league in interceptions this season.
I'll tell you what, again, the Packers still don't do it much. And, Goody is still, at heart, I think, a Ted Thompson disciple and probably doesn't want to dip into free agency. And I made the joke about T. Higgins and how I'm earmarking, a lot of the money that they'll have under the salary cap next year for T. Higgins. When Goody's dipped into free agency, he's hit, man.
Yeah.
He's absolutely hit. You think
even the low-risk ones.
Yeah, well, I just go back to, again, you think of the Za'Darius and Preston Smith class. Obviously, those guys paid off big time for the Packers. I know it didn't end well for Za'Darius, but he was a big part of those
Adrian
teams.
Amos was good those
But I
first
was
few
about to
years,
say, Adrian Amos was really good, and Billy Turner was an unsung hero of that free agent class that they brought in because he had the versatility to kick out to tackle when needed. Billy Turner was a really good player for the Packers. And then, of course, you see these two this year in the impact that they made. And to have to make the tough decision to not bring Aaron Jones back and to go, hey, I think we just need somebody who can be available, who can be more of a bell cow for this team, and to go get Josh Jacobs, and you can see how that really has benefited Jordan Love this year as well. Yes, tip of the cap to Goody, certainly in those situations. To sign those guys, again, I reference also our thank you letter that Jen, Gabe, and Chewy sent, Joe Shane and the New York Giants, because God, I don't know how you let a player like that walk away. But the Packers are thankful for it, and Goody happily paid him the contract that he got this offseason.
Yeah, but also I think of some of those low-risk, high-reward moves that he's made too, right? Rasul Douglas, one of them. How about this year? Chris Brooks, right? Like, that's a guy that nobody knew, and he's played a really nice role for this Packers offense, and I'm missing a ton of other ones. Devondre Campbell was one at one point. Obviously didn't end well.
So here's the problem with Devondre.
The
You get credit for getting him.
The contract.
But then you gave him the contract and you paid the guy, and that. So I think that one kind of levels out.
It was like a 5-year, $55 million or whatever it was. Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you on that. But all in all,
yeah. But again, you can't win them all. You can't win them all.
Goody has been really good when he splashes in free agency. So,
look, I mean, we won't have an opportunity to talk about this next week, so we're focused on a very big game for them. This is a big offseason for Goody.
It is.
This is a team that I have thought all year long, and I've gotten flack for it, being called Johnny Raincloud on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. I have felt like this team has been a year away.
Yeah.
And they have made some mistakes all season long. And a lot of that's reflected because they're the youngest team in the league again. If you want to be a serious Super Bowl contender next season, you can't be the youngest team in the league anymore.
Nope.
And you have to be able to address some of the issues that they have at corner, potentially at wide receiver, depending upon how you feel about that, and across the defensive line. Like you've built a good foundation. Now you just need those last couple of pieces to get you over that hump and be a true contender where you're entering Week 18 and you're not already eliminated from the division. Because winning the division, I understand it hasn't worked out for the Packers the last few times, but guess what? Neither is the wild card, all right? It's been since 2010 since they've won a Super Bowl. Getting that number 1 seed, getting a number 2 seed, getting home games at Lambeau Field is so incredibly important. It makes your route that much easier. I mean, how much nicer would it be to just be sitting here going, yeah, we got a home game next week. We got a home game. Yeah, bring it on. Instead of going, I don't want to see the Eagles. I'd much rather see the Rams. So I think there are a couple of pieces that he needs to try to go out and find, whether it's via the draft, whether it's via free agency. And it's a big offseason for him to take this team that has a good young base and turn it into truly one of the best teams in the league.
It is bonkers, though, that what we expect to be a 12-win team has the potential to both be the third-place team in their division and the last team in the postseason.
Yep. I mean, again, that just tells you that's how wild and wacky the NFL can be from year to year. Because who thought that the Commanders would be as good as they were after having the number 2 overall pick, and the Minnesota Vikings were picked to finish last in this division, and they could be the number 1 team not just in the division but the entire conference if they go into Detroit and win tonight.
They could finish the season 15-2. Which is just crazy because we all did not believe in the Vikings.
No.
Kevin O'Connell, very deserving of the award. He'll likely win coach.
I wonder if Kevin O'Connell truly believed in the Vikings at the beginning of the season.
No. I don't know how you could. I mean, the weapons, but nobody expected them to be this good. And they are very good after beating the Packers last week, looking to win the NFC North and get that bye tonight when playing the Detroit Lions. Gabe Knights and Alex Strofe with you here on Green Bay Game Day, the final edition of the regular season. We give you our final thoughts ahead of Packers, Bears, and our game picks coming up next right here on Green Bay Game Day.
Stay right here. Green Bay Game Day will be right back on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, the certainty of protection and income are the keys to success. And as a former NFL player myself, I have experience with both. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game films helped me mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. Now I star in a new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception to help you visualize and prepare for your 4th quarter of life. You see, you don't retire on your nest egg, but rather the income it can produce. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. And it's free for you to view. Call 844-763-2837 right now for your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Don't risk your retirement savings at the goal line. You don't need to be risky to have a winning strategy. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Call today, 844-763-2837. That's 844-763-2837. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
In Heartland, you're going to find a focus on distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original artwork, along with tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. In Pewaukee, the focus is on kitchen, outdoor, and garden decor, and all of it is priced at 25 to 40% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value.
Design Exchange.
So how do you underpromise and still get the job? We believe in our hearts we're going to do great work for you. We're just really careful about making unrealistic promises. At Semper Fi, we refuse to set the bar higher than we can jump. But be assured, that's the goal, to do all we can to jump as high as possible to try to exceed your expectations. We're looking to break records. That's how you win over customers, get really great referrals, and build a great business. When you're making a decision to hire an exterior remodeling company, character, integrity, and the feeling that the people you're about to hire are truly eager to show you how good they are should stand at the top of your list. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
The only place to get this.
Every twist and turn you could possibly dream of is playing out tonight. Are you kidding me?
With some of this.
We are the Bucks, Justin.
You're a member of the team now. Okay.
Well, I have the tattoo on my arm, so I kind of am.
Get it all on Bucks Talk, your all-encompassing Milwaukee Bucks postgame show with Justin Garcia and Brandon Snide. Only heard here on the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
StKateArts.com.
Welcome back to Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Away we go one final time this regular season. It's Game Picks time on Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin here on ESPN Wisconsin, 620 WTMJ. I'm Alex Strofe alongside my buddy, the great Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, weekday morning 7 to 9 on ESPN Milwaukee for the first time in 15 years. Gabe Neitzel going into Lambeau Field as a fan. He's going to chug some beers, enjoy his stay with some of his buddies from X-Golf in the greater Milwaukee area. You looking forward to it?
I am really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great day inside Lambeau Field. Packers, Bears. I've unfortunately had some pretty miserable experiences for Packers, Bears inside Lambeau Field. But this one's not going to be that. This is just going to be a fun game where the Packers absolutely dominate and get a little momentum heading into the postseason next week.
So you just want to see all gas, no brakes.
All gas, no brakes from here on out. All gas, no brakes. That's what the Packers have to be. And look, maybe that even means next week taking a few more risks and gambles than you typically would, but that's what you're going to have to do when you're a wild card team on the road.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So your game pick today is Packers by how many? A lot, I would
Packers 31, Bears 6.
Touchdown or field goals?
I've been trying to debate that in my head. Maybe it's a touchdown. They go for 2.
Miss it?
Yeah,
Okay.
or maybe miss the extra point. Who knows? It's not a day for special teams.
No, it's not.
As cold as it is.
Well, it's a day for Keyshawn Nixon.
Yes,
according to your Google Logs.
It is not a day for actually kicking the football.
Yeah, I've got the Packers big as well. I will take the Packers a final of 31-10. I do think the Bears get in the end zone in garbage time to give them that even 10. I think we see Malik Willis. I think we see Jordan Love. I didn't jump that time when the fireworks went off here at Lambeau Field.
It wasn't as loud, though.
No, it was not. Not the grand display we get 1 hour prior to kickoff. Regardless, yeah, I think it's all Packers all day today. I'm rooting for our old friend Mike McCarthy. I'm rooting for the Dallas Cowboys to knock off the Washington Commanders to make that wild card round a little bit easier for the Packers. Because to be real frank with you, Gabe, I don't think the best team in the NFC is playing on Sunday Night Football tonight. I think they're playing in Philadelphia.
So I would agree with you, and I think that's the most complete team in the Philadelphia Eagles because of what they can do defensively. And they showed last week playing the Cowboys. It didn't matter who was playing quarterback for them, as even Kenny Pickett was knocked out with a rib injury. Their third-string quarterback
Tanner McKee
was throwing touchdowns to A.J. Brown in the end zone. There's a lot of talent on that team, and it is going to take a lot to go into Philadelphia if that's where the Packers go in order to win that game because they're playing some pretty good football.
Roberto on the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube chat says, hey, Matt LaFleur, let your QB loose. Time to take the training wheels off. I don't know if today's that day, but maybe it will be. We will all find out together.
But that's part of who this team is. That's what they've had the success is running the football. Josh Jacobs is their best offensive player. You want to ride that for as long as you can.
Gabe, get out of here. Go enjoy Lambeau Field as a fan for the first time in 15 years and bring home a victory, would you?
Can't wait for it. Hopefully I'll be able to feel all my extremities by the end.
I hope so, too. Keep those hand warmers nice and close. Bring a couple extra while you're at it. That will do it for us on Green Bay Game Day. A reminder, Green Bay Game Night starts, I think, following the final whistle, but maybe not, with Homer, Tausch, Gary Ellerson on these same stations. We are back with you next week ahead of Wild Card Weekend. Will it be the Eagles? Will it be the Bucks? Will it be the Rams? We will know by the end of tonight, but we are with you 3 hours before kickoff next week right here on Green Bay Game Day. Enjoy the game. Go Pack, go. We will see you in the playoffs. This has been Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
While you rest on the weekends, we work for you. Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. The latest in news.
The amount of energy people are using is going up. Power companies are changing where that power comes from.
Entertainment.
This is the culmination of these tour journals of all the weirdest shows I've played.
And more.
Anybody who looks at this institutionally would never allow recess appointments to happen when a Republican president gets elected because they'll know what will happen if a Democrat gets elected.
Every Sunday morning starting at 8 on WTMJ.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
My overall experience with Gruber Law Offices has been phenomenal.
The treatment was excellent.
They will be supportive of you. They will listen to you.
It was a great experience knowing that I had people to help me.
I know I could count on them to do what I needed to get done.
Experience with Gruber was great.
They gave me my life back.
It was amazing.
He gets results.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices had my best interests at heart.
Now's the time to plan your total experience getaway to the Island Resort and Casino. With over 450 hotel rooms and a luxurious spa, relax in style before diving into non-stop casino action. Watch your favorite teams on the big screens and enjoy great food and drinks at T. McSee's Sports Bar, or savor top-tier dining at Horizon Steakhouse. Then amp up your night with live music and comedy. Head to where the big game, big wins, and big fun come together. The Island Resort and Casino.